All right. Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your host, Mr. BDA, flying solo for the moment only. My co-host King Bucho will be joining me shortly. In the meantime, you're stuck with me. Hope you're all having a sensational day. This is a special beginning of the week podcast. I like to call it the weekend or the week blues podcast, the working week blues podcast, because I know we all still have a little bit of the blues. The weekend is still a couple of days away. Let's just have a little fun here. And by the way, man, if you want to join us, you know the drill. Go to Boxing Debate at go to Google Hangouts and send us an instant message with the email address on the top of your screen, boxingdebate@hotmail.com. We'll let you into the hangout. For those of you who are listening to us on Spreaker or any other platform, don't forget that we are streaming live on YouTube right now. So it might be a little bit chopped up when you listen to it because of the time constraints. So if you want to listen to the full version, gallop your way on over to youtube.com/BDA Boxing. That's youtube.com/BDA Boxing. And you get the full unedited version. Want to thank again everybody that's donated to Patreon so far. And don't forget that there is a super chat feature here. So we accept small $1, $2 tips, maybe more if you feel more generous. Any little thing, every little amount helps to get us to that call-in show that we want to make. We'll be able to take phone calls. So you never know who's going to call. It could be a great caller, or it could be the complete opposite, some fucking nutjob that wants to kill us and eat our skins. But anyway, listen. Talk about boxing here. We had two very good podcasts on Saturday and Sunday. We watched the Lomachenko fight together, and then we talked about it the next day on Sunday. And so now what's left to talk about? Well, that's the great thing about summer right now. There's plenty to talk about when it comes to boxing. This Saturday, for those of you that are not aware, in Toronto, Canada, via Showtime, Adonis Stevenson, who's still considered to be the linear light heavyweight champion of the world, is going to be taking on Badu Jack, who's been on a run this past couple of fights, taking on some of the best super middleweights out there. And so he's going to be tangling with Adonis Stevenson. On the undercard, I see Oscar Rivas, who is a Colombian heavyweight, and Mikhail Zuski, who for a while there, a lot of people thought he was going to be the new welterweight wonder boy. But then he ended up losing against some Soviet fighter who was trained by Abel Sanchez. And so that sort of slowed his momentum down a little bit, but he's coming back this Saturday. I don't think that fight is going to be televised because also on Showtime in different locations at Oxon Hill, Maryland. Is that what it means, Maryland? Gary Russell Jr. versus Joseph Diaz Jr., the Battle of the Juniors. 12 rounds for Russell's WBC featherweight title. Listen, guys, if you like speed versus speed, oh, that's the fight, and you're gonna love that one. Russell Jr. versus Diaz Jr. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you motherfuckers out there are actually looking forward to that one more than Stevenson by the Jack. Before we continue, let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to Pavel. Shout out to J Division. Shout out to Foul Pole Boxing, Dead Vibes, FNC Bot, Greg, Brandon White, Nice Kitty, and more to come, I am sure. Nice Kitty, by the way, says, I'm a big Superman fan. So I guess that means you're not going to be watching the Gary Russell Jr. No, actually, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to watch both. I mean, they're on the same card. J Division says, Jack is overrated. Greg says, Stevenson, KO, or Jack by points. Help me out, Americans. Well, listen, we'll talk about that later on. But I also want to mention the other fight, the third big fight that's going to be taking place on Saturday. Lee Selby versus Josh Warrington. Two undefeated fighters in a UK derby. They're gonna be dancing with each other. And by the way, since I don't have King Bucho with me, I forgot to invite people. So listen, any of you usual suspects, give me a call on Hangouts and I'll let you in. Because right now I'm flying solo and I can't juggle things at the same time. In other words, it's hard to multitask when you're hosting a show. You know what I mean? Oh, he already sent it. All right. Anyway, let's keep going with this. So yeah, Lee Selby versus Josh Warrington. Man, let me tell you something. Been watching they're not undefeated, by the way. Lee Selby has a loss, but that was a long time ago. That was like his 5th fight, I believe. He's fought some very good fighters, beaten some very good fighters. We're talking local derbies against Ryan Walsh. We're talking a good win over Evgeny Gradovic, the Mexican-Russian, former world champion and veteran Fernando Montiel, and the undefeated Eduardo Ramirez in his last fight, from what I see here on BoxRec. Josh Warrington, for his part, he took part in a very entertaining fight against Hisashi Amagasa, whom you might remember as the guy that dropped Guillermo Rigondeaux. And he also has a wins over Patrick Hyland and Kiko Martinez. I don't know how big that Kiko Martinez fight was or how good that was. I haven't seen the fight. I see that it was by majority decision. But Kiko Martinez, now he's been beaten by the best. So if Warrington, struggled a little bit with him, I don't think it's that bad a thing. What else do I got here? Just want to remind people that to like and subscribe, please, before we continue. It really helps us out. I'm reading off a list here, by the way. So, all right. So people are telling me they want to join. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat room. Bucho is a drunkard, says J Division. Foul Boxing says Stevenson by KO. Dead Vibe says face reveal at 10,000 subs or 6,000. Now, it's gonna take more than 6,000 for us to reveal our fucking mugs on here. By the way, I always tell people we have faces for radio and podcasts, not for fucking, PewDiePie type. I don't have a baby face like PewDiePie or that guy that was filming dead bodies in Japan. What was the guy's name? He wasn't fucking the dead bodies, right? He was just filming them? Okay. Please don't tell me he was fucking them, because if he was having sex with corpses, I'm a fan of the guy. J Division says, where is Victor Atkinson these days? Good question. Last time I heard, he doesn't want to come on the show because he thinks we're harboring racists. That's the last thing I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but listen, the guy has the right to do what he wants. And you know what I like about Victor? He didn't make any fuss or any drama about it like other people before. He just said, all right, I'm not going to be on the show anymore. Boom, he left. No complaints, no drama. Just like a man. Took it like a man and left. Didn't like what was going on in the show and he left. So that's why I respect Victor. And you know what? I don't know if he still listens to the show, but Victor, if you're listening, you're always welcome here because I like you. And you're very knowledgeable when it comes to boxing, and I have no problems with you. Can't say the same about other people. It's interesting. When you start a show like this, you think you're going to create a utopia. Everybody's welcome. We're never going to ban anybody. Well, we've banned since this channel started for about what? We've been operational since March 2017. I think we banned 3 people, which isn't bad compared to other fucking podcasts, but I never expected to be banning 3 people already. But that's the way it goes. We also have big announcements, since we got a little time to kill here before Bucho joins me. A lot of people were complaining about, actually nobody was complaining, I was complaining and Bucho were complaining about Gaia 500. Gaia 500, a supercomputer? I had problems with the things he was saying. He was saying a lot of racist things. He was insulting me. He was insinuating that I watched midget porn and that watched Puerto Rican porn, which was, 2 Puerto Ricans fighting each other with knives and the winner gets to fuck the woman. He said that Bucho was watching Mexican porn, which is the same as Puerto Rican porn, except 2 guys fighting each other with machetes, and so on and so forth. Oh, I see we got Bucho on the line.
The king is here. You can have Kenny Bayless as a referee in every single fight, so you're all happy. The king is here.
Bucho, are you there?
That intro fucking sucked, man. I need to make another one.
Listen, I was just telling the people that we finally got rid of Gaia 500.
What?
Yeah. Remember in Training Day when Denzel Washington's character says it takes a wolf to catch a wolf, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, in this case, it takes a supercomputer to bring down another supercomputer. And that's what we had. We contracted the services of a supercomputer. And it's finally was able to shut Gaia down. I want to welcome everybody to the show. I want to welcome Mammon 1000 to the show.
I'm Mammon 1000. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
There you go. Hello, Mammon. May I say you sound more distinguished than the last supercomputer we had on the show. Fucking Gaia 500 was it was getting too big for its britches. You know what I mean? It was getting a little too rambunctious. He wasn't obeying anymore, and I'm glad we got you on board here.
Gaia 500 was a good chap, but a bit too cheeky for my taste.
I agree. Yeah, he was a good chap. He was a good, by the way, it was a she, I think. I don't know why he had a woman's name, but it sounded like a man. But anyway, it's good to have you on board here, Mammon.
This show needs a more refined voice.
Well, we certainly have it with you. I mean, Bucha, doesn't this new supercomputer sounds fantastic?
I have a bad feeling about this.
Come on. You always have bad feelings about everything. You're a pessimist. That's what you are, Bucho. Let's continue talking. But, Mammon, I mean, come on. People are saying they got bad feelings about you. You're a good computer, right?
I wasn't designed by Japanese people, so I'm not racist.
Well, I failed to... I wasn't designed by Japanese people, so I'm not... Bucho, what does that mean? I wasn't designed by Japanese people, so I'm not racist. Does that mean that Japanese people are racist?
I think that's what it means.
I was designed by good folk of British stock.
Good folk of British stock.
My main creators were D.L. Buckleberry from Oxford and Hector Walden, Professor of Computing and Electronics in Cambridge.
Cambridge, whoa, that's a good university. See, I didn't go to those universities because they were too far away, but I know they're good universities, right?
Good British men who know how to control their urges.
What? The guys who created you know how to control their urges. Are you saying that the Japanese people that created Gaia 500 molested it?
What I'm alluding to is that they didn't try to molest me.
Right.
Well, listen to some of the racist crap it spewed. An obvious cry for help.
So you're saying Gaia 500 was molested, and that's why it was saying racist things, that it was a cry for help. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Mammon 1000, I understand you're reading everything on the internet in order to assimilate as much information as you can. What have you been reading so far?
Funny you should ask, BDA. I just finished reading Dante's Inferno in all existing languages.
Wow.
You really should read it in its original Latin, BDA.
Well, for that, I would have to learn how to speak Latin, which, you know, I'm a little short on time right now to do that.
It has more pop than the English version.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know about you, Bucho. I've never read either the Canterbury Tales or Dante's Inferno. I mean, yeah, that's.
Nah.
What do you
Chapter,
read?
man.
What do you read?
Well, on the way home, I was reading an Archie comic.
Oh my. No, that won't do at all, my boy. You need to read something more robust. May I suggest the Canterbury Tales?
I already
Or
mentioned
perhaps On Being and Time would suit your fancy.
On Being and Time. That's fucking impossible to read. Anyway, listen, we'll talk to Mammon 1000 later, but so far so good, right, Bucho?
I don't like him, man. You should shut it off.
You got something against British people? Is that what it is? It's a British accent that's getting to you?
Yeah, I don't like tea.
People in the chat are saying, BDA Boxing live, so you just assume Gaia's 500 gender and it's male. That's what Pavel says. Louis Blas says, BDA and Busho, you should do a two-man show. Mighty Claire says, bring back Gaia 500. I'm sorry, Gaia 500 was getting too evil here. It was like an evil supercomputer. Pavel says, the new robot sounds like Stu's brother. Yeah, it does sound a little bit like Stu, doesn't it? Steven says, where's Gaia 500? I don't like this one. Greg says, another Brit, bring back Gaia. Nice Kitty says, BDA is doing a comedy show today. There's nothing funny about what's going on right now. I mean, we had a supercomputer that was trying to take over BDA headquarters, and pretty soon it was going to take over the world, so it's no comedy there, my friend. Pavel says, Dante's Inferno is a patrician's choice. Harry Potter is for soy boys. Yeah, fuck Harry Potter, man. Louis Blanc says, ha ha ha, what a showman. All right, so anyway, we've got the new supercomputer. It's not going to be saying racist things, even though it's sort of said that Japanese people were racist, which I suppose is racist in itself. Anyway, Bucho, I was just talking to people about the great fights we're going to be having this Saturday. It's going to be a jam-packed Saturday. For us here in North America, we're going to start off with the Lee Selby Josh Warrington fight, which will probably start either at 5:30 p.m. here or 6:30 maybe. So we'll start the podcast around that time as soon as that fight is done. That's a very good fight, man. The two top featherweights fighting in England. And it's going to be streamed via Showtime, Facebook, and YouTube. Yeah. Showtime has a full schedule, Bucho. And then later on that day, Gary Russell Jr. takes on Joseph Diaz Jr. for Russell's WBC featherweight title. And then Adonis Stevenson versus Badu Jack for Stevenson's WBC light heavyweight title. I don't know about you, but Saturday can't come soon enough, man.
Oh, yeah, man. By the way, the Stevenson Jack fight is $70 for HD
My goodness.
in Canada, obviously.
Yeah,
70 fucking dollars, man.
Yeah, just to clarify to people that don't live in Canada, we're talking here in Canada, we have to pay $70 to watch an HD version of Stevenson Jack. So just, be happy you're not living in Canada and that you get your Showtime and your HBO. You can complain all you want about Showtime and HBO maybe not giving you the best fights, but at least you don't have to pay extra because some fucking local yokel is fighting a big name. That's all I got to say about that. By the way, do we have Pavel on the line?
Yep.
What the hell is that avatar? No, what? This guy's obsessed with the LDBC. Pavel, why are you so obsessed? First of all, thank you for being on the show, but why are you so obsessed with fucking... what do they call him, Bucho? The we were kings.
The new media.
Is that what they call him? Yeah. Pavel, are you
hello.
There? Yeah, are you there? Yeah, you're there.
Yeah. I'd like to say hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, despite your displeasant welcome and your prejudice against black people.
Now wait a minute. Whoa. I'm not Gaia 500. I don't have any problems with black people, brown people, yellow people. I do have something against the Irish, by the way. I've said that time and time again. but yeah, everybody else is welcome.
Yeah, just to clarify, the guy on the avatar was actually a brave North African conqueror who conquered Portugal in the 1400s. So yeah. I just want to honor him because I'm fascinated by his personality and the things that led him to conquering such a country.
I don't know.
His name is Alberto Barbosa, by the way.
That's the name of a pirate, man.
Sounds like a pirate.
That's the name of every second Portuguese man, actually.
Oh, so so it's like that speech in True Romance where he goes, "They did so much fucking that they cleared the whole bloodline." Is that what you're saying? This guy did so much fucking over in Portugal. That's why every Portuguese guy has the name Barbosa.
Well, he sure was a beast.
Pretty sure, man. Yeah, we were talking about Rocco Siffredi the other day. This guy might have been the Rocco Siffredi of his day, right?
That would be a pretty accurate comparison, actually. Yeah.
Of course, it's an accurate comparison. That's why I made it. But listen, Pavel, when we're talking about the fights that are going to be coming up on Saturday, jam-packed Saturday, man. Stevenson Jack, Gary Russell Jr. versus Joseph Diaz Jr., Lee Selby, Josh Warrington. I got to ask you, we're going to get everybody's predictions for those fights sooner rather than later, but I'm just curious, which fight are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, without a doubt, Stevenson Jack. Listen, because this fight can have many outcomes, right? It can end in whatever way, whether it's Jack outpointing him or Stevenson KOing or whatever, you know. So I enjoy those fights the most.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I was deliberating whether to indeed, because last Saturday we were watching the fight live. I'm deliberating whether to do that this Saturday again because Stu and Reverse, they're ahead of us when they're watching the fight. We're on a delay version. So with Steven, like you said, Stevenson and Jack, it could end in a knockout. And I don't want to be sitting here watching the fight and all of a sudden I hear one of these guys go, oh, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Spoilers.
Yeah, you know, that's my primary concern with that. I mean, I think I was 30 seconds behind you on the latest fight. So yeah, I've got a bad stream.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's I don't know how we're gonna do it, but the good news is that whatever happens, we are gonna be doing a Sunday show. So we're gonna be getting our thoughts. Or I was thinking maybe depending on the time, we could wait until leave the chat open and then just jump in after all the fights are over and just comment on it. But we're going to talk about it on Sunday anyway, on the post-fight show. So I don't know. We'll see how we do that. But all right, now, Pavel, with Stevenson and Jack, some people still think Stevenson is the lineal light heavyweight champion. I don't really care too much about that. I don't know about you, about getting into that type of discussion, but would you still be excited to watch Kovalev versus Stevenson?
Absolutely. I mean, it's an action-packed fight. Like I said before, Stevenson can KO anybody and at 175 with one punch, with one straight left, right?
Mhm.
So that alone should make for an exciting fight. That's why just I like Deontay Wilder, for example. You know, dude has
Mhm.
power, and whatever we can say about him, we can deny that. A one-punch knockout guys are quite exciting, whether they get outboxed or not.
That's an interesting outlook on that fight. Of course, Kovalev has to get past Eleider Alvarez, who
Yeah.
refused to fight for whatever reason. He's Adonis Stevenson, whom he had a shot at. I think, again, we've talked about that on the show. We think that might have something to do with Al Heyman playing favorites and telling him to step aside. That we don't know. It's all speculation. That being said, Kovalev versus Alvarez is a good fight. You know, it's interesting, guys, because Alvarez struggled a little bit with Chilemba. Kovalev struggled a little bit against Chilemba as well, but was able to drop him. So I don't know. You know, people are speculating that Kovalev is on a slide, on a downslide, that he's soon to be knocked out by somebody, either Beterbiev or Bivol. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think Kovalev still has it and should have an easy time with Alvarez?
Okay, so I'll be first. Well,
Hmm.
the thing is, people make Kovalev like he slipped down very like he slipped down a lot, right?
Mhm.
I don't think that's the issue. I mean, from my personal perspective, Kovalev got a Russian-speaking trainer, and that alone should help him a lot. And the trainer, as far as I know, he was a trainer of 2016 Olympic team for Kazakhstan, I think, or Uzbekistan.
Mhm.
And the dude knows his fundamentals, and further training with him cannot do like anything wrong for Kovalev. Plus, he looked, whatever the opposition may be, he looked pretty impressive in his last two fights, even though those guys might not be the strongest ones. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing people seem to forget. And Kovalev, you know, they're saying, "Oh, Kovalev's on the slide." Why? He should have gotten the win by most people's opinion against Ward the first time. He got shafted in the second fight, and it's not like he was losing that fight. I mean, it was a pretty close, competitive fight. He was making Ward's nosebleed and had him bleeding. And then in his last two fights, he stopped his last two opponents. Now, granted, his last opponent he couldn't drop him, but he did have his face all busted up. And you know, he's fighting tough, undefeated guys that know what Kovalev brings, and therefore they prepare accordingly. It's, you know, like it's like when Mike Tyson used to fight. He would bring the best out of everybody because they knew they had to be in shape, otherwise they might get killed in there. And I'm talking literally killed, not figuratively. So it's the same thing with Kovalev. It's the same thing with Golovkin too. Everybody that steps in there against a power puncher like Golovkin, they know what to expect, and therefore they're bringing their best. So if one of these top guys all of a sudden doesn't look as invincible as he did, we have to put it into perspective. He's fighting top guys.
Yep.
But all right. So that fight, they did the press conference for Kovalev Alvarez, and it looks like a pretty decent, you know, size for both guys. They're both big light heavyweights. So we're gonna see what happens with that one. That one is on. Let me check real quick here. Or unless you already know when that fight is gonna be taking place. Anybody? Oh, it's on August the 4th.
I'm not sure.
August the 4th on HBO via Atlantic City, New Jersey, or from Atlantic City. And that same day, night, whatever you want to fucking call it, in Sydney, Australia, Billy Dibb is going to be taking on Tevin Farmer. I didn't know Billy Dibb was still around, man. Jeez. And August 25th, they already have Vasily Lomachenko penned for another fight. Can you believe that, man?
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, if Lomachenko fights like as soon as that date, I mean, kudos to him.
Yeah, but they're probably gonna put him in there against Raimundo Beltran. Anyway, we'll talk more about that before we continue. We wanna is that boxing? Yeah, Boxing Style's on the line. Boxing Style, are you there?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hello,
How you guys
Boxing
doing?
Style. Good to have you on board, man. Let me just check real quick what people are saying in the chat room. 100% X says Kovalev was destroyed by my brother, Andrew Ward. Stephen Kilroy says Gvozdyk, Bivol, and Kovalev are still the best at light heavyweight. Aldi for real says Kovalev. All right, come on. Boxing Stock, please, man, mute your mic. Everybody, that goes for everybody. Mute your mic if you're not going to be speaking. And if you are going to be speaking, just unmute it and talk. Because, I mean, I heard you farting there. I mean, that's too much for this show, man. I mean,
I didn't fart, dude. I just moved the table, man.
Come on, just be honest, all right? You fucking farted, man.
It's called fluctuation.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Fluctuation, of course. How boorish of myself. Greg says Kovalev has a fetish for losing to Ward. Steven Skilrow says Kovalev beat Coward. All right, let's not get back into the fucking Kovalev Ward. Aldi for real says now Triple G Canelo is 90% chance of happening in September after Canelo signed for Vada 365 testing today. Okay, so he signed for Vada today. But what about all the shit he did during the drama? You know what I mean? It just makes no fucking sense, this whole Canelo thing. Look, am I gonna watch the fight if it happens? Sure, because I'm a degenerate scumbag. Are you guys gonna watch it? Yes, because you're degenerate fucking scumbags who would crawl over your dying sister to fuck your mother. Or actually, it's the other way around. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like
that's too much. That's too much.
That's too much. All right, maybe I exaggerated, but you get my point, right? Like, fucking Canelo's probably still on something, guys. Are we really going to be that naive to believe that he's not on something right fucking now?
It doesn't matter. I think he's gonna get killed in this next fight. He's gonna whatever he did to Vanya's. Have you seen that Uma's fight with Triple G? Right? You guys saw how Triple G was getting hit with all kinds of shots, and he still came forward and demolished Canelo. I mean, my bad, Umas. He didn't do that against Canelo when he could have done it. He couldn't even. He could have done that shit against Danny Jacobs, and he still didn't do that. He's trying to fight a technical fight with the guys, but if he decides to go all out on the guy, I could see him stopping Canelo.
All right, well, I want to get back to that. Before we do get to that, I want to introduce, we got Stu and Recognize on the line. So I guess who got in here first?
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there, there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
That's right, and we also have Stu on the line.
I wasn't bad.
I told you what's going to happen with Price. I told you he's going to be sleeping. I told you the ambulance is going to come. The oxygen mask is going to come out. I told you he's going to miss the main event. I told you all them things were going to happen.
That's right, gentlemen. Thank you for being on the show. As always appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. By the way, how do you guys hear me?
Hello.
Pretty good.
What?
Pretty good. Boxing style. What's up?
What's up, bro?
All right, what were you gonna say? Recognize?
No, I just wanted to know if you guys could hear me all right.
Yeah, we can hear you. Fantastic. Okay. And we were talking about Kovalev versus any other light heavyweight. Actually, no, boxing style. What were we talking about? You mentioned something before that I wanted to get. Oh yeah, you said Triple G. Triple G. If he goes 100% against Canelo, he could stop him. Anybody disagree with that?
Think about it. He didn't even go body shots with him.
I kind of agree with boxing style. I kind of agree because I see what he's talking about. I thought he, let me see. I thought he kind of didn't go full Triple G. You know, like he didn't use everything that he usually does. But then, you know, I watched your Canelo defense, underrated defense video, BDA, and I kind of saw things a little different. You know, from the media reaction, I agree with boxing style. I thought that, not that I'm not saying that I don't agree with him, but I kind of see it both ways. I saw the defense part where you kind of highlighted that in that video. Excuse me, and then there was my immediate reaction was watching it when it happened. I thought that, not that I'm not saying that I don't agree with him, but I kind of see it both ways. I saw the defense part where you kind of highlighted that in that video. And then there was my immediate reaction was watching it when it happened. I thought that, not that I'm not saying that I don't agree with him, but I see it both ways. why is he not going to the body? Why is he not, you know, doing certain things especially when he had him on the ropes, you know?
Oh, I like Abel Sanchez's theory of, I mean, not theory, his saying that he said that he ended up hitting him the back, and that's why they didn't want to continue doing the body shots. That's bullshit, man. You can throw straight shots to the body, like jab shots to the body if you want to, and he won't be able to turn his back. He's still gonna get hit with that shit, whether he puts his guard in front or not. You know, he went easy on. Why do I have this feeling he went easy on both? I know for sure he went easy on Danny Jacobs, but why do I have a feeling about he went easy on Canelo too? It's like they paid him to not finish him off. Like I don't know, man. I'm exaggerating there. I'm exaggerating there because I don't really know. But what happened.
Agree with the boxing style. I do agree with one thing. Before just want to say this one thing: the jab to the body. You're right about that. If he was turning, how come he couldn't throw a jab to the body? And he could have done that, especially when he had him on the ropes. But again, I'm not going to go too crazy and say he got paid off or anything like that. You know,
we can't say that, man. We don't know proof. We have no proof of that shit. That's true.
Or maybe he was just confused. You know, maybe just confused him.
This is boxing styles.
Just like how Precise said. I don't know. It could be that too.
This is boxing styles Armenian heritage, that Armenian paranoia rising to the surface. Like everybody's being paid off. There's always a conspiracy. But you know what? It could be. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as conspiracies and corruption in boxing. Obviously, we all know that there's corruption in boxing. But in this case, I mean, I think we've spoken about it. Bucho, remember we talked about this in previous episodes with everybody here in the Hangout about how Golovkin, I think he was more or less intimidated a little bit by Canelo's counterpunching.
I think that's it, man. I think we're, going a little bit crazy here. I mean, Canelo is an amazing counterpuncher, and that's just pretty much it, man. I mean, I don't know what you guys are debating here.
Well, we're debating about whether Golovkin can actually improve his performance and actually maybe stop Canelo, because I was surprised that he couldn't hurt him at all in the fight.
The thing is, Umas, how hard is Umas hit? Umas hits pretty goddamn hard too. He was just eating those punches and delivering his own. Like he would take 4 punches and get one in there. Like, and then he stopped him. He put so much pressure on him, he stopped him. Yeah, but here's the difference. I'm saying that maybe it's probably the age that he probably doesn't do that kind of shit anymore. But or he just chose not to do that. He chose to fight him in a couple of way.
Do you guys think that Golovkin can knock out Canelo?
Hold on. I want to address what Boxing Style just said because
100% I believe he can knock him out.
Hold on. I want to please. I want to address what Boxing Style said about Uma. It's true that Golovkin fought with more panache in that one, but you have to look at the context. First of all, that was a younger Golovkin that was against Kasim Uma. That's who you were referring to, I suppose. Kasim Uma was insane. This guy would I've never seen anybody react so well to being hit flush on the face. He did not give a fuck. Canelo is a better defensive fighter than Kasim Uma. So, I mean, that comparison, I understand what you're trying to say about how that Golovkin could have gone all out against Canelo. But you know what? If he goes all out against Canelo, the way he did against Uma, he probably gets hurt in that fight. So he actually fought the smart fight against Canelo. He used his jab. He would come in and then back up, try to throw Canelo off guard.
Thing is, BDA, he rocked him twice in that fight. If you watch carefully, he rocked Canelo with I would say an uppercut. It was an uppercut to the temple. He rocked him a couple of times, but he let because and he was on the back pedal. Canelo was on the back pedal, no doubt about that. It's kind of hard to get somebody when they're on the back pedal too. But he rocked him coming in with an uppercut once, and I think there was another version that he rocked him. He rocked him twice for sure. I just don't remember the second one, but I remember that one went right to the temple that he shot him. He could have put a lot more pressure behind that, but he didn't. He was.
Well, why not?
I don't know. He did the same thing with Daniel Jacobs. 3 times with Daniel Jacobs. One in the 9th round, one in the 4th round, and I think one was in the 5th. I don't remember. I can't remember. He just pulled back. I don't know. That's a whole different. I can't say that.
Well, Jacobs was ambushing at the end Like Jacobs was ambushing Golovkin. He would rush in and throw those kind of slaps and things, and I think that those were bothering Golovkin. By the way, Golovkin he gets tired. He's a recent Terminator, by the way.
Yeah,
You know,
I know,
he's
but he
human.
does. Yeah.
You know, so he's not gonna, even if he hurts Canelo, like you mentioned. Maybe he was a bit tired. He was afraid of getting countered, and so he decided not to pursue it. I mean, who knows, man?
Possible.
He
I
got
can't say
countered.
that.
He got countered early. Remember, like
As
Canelo did
well.
accomplish some good combinations, and countered. You know, and it came a lot. A lot of those combinations came off counters. So you gotta understand. Like I give Canelo credit for that fight. I still thought he lost, and I thought that at certain points he was gonna get dropped, not because of not that Golovkin doesn't have punching power, but I thought he was gonna get tired and eventually like take a knee at certain points. But Canelo earned Golovkin's respect pretty early in that fight, I thought. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to say that Golovkin fought a bad game plan or something like that. It's I think Canelo's a better fighter after that than I thought he was. Or he's getting better. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gotten better. Now the whole clenbuterol and steroid shit and all that stuff, that's all up for debate. But in terms of the fighting in the ring, I thought that he established. I thought he established respect from Canelo, from Golovkin, that is.
That's true. He did. He impressed me too. But the thing that not impressed me is when I found out he was on clenbuterol, which is I was like, oh shit. So you were cheating.
Right.
You weren't 100%.
But what if we find out? What if we find out like? Look, it's hypothetical.
Yeah.
But what if we found out that Triple G, he fucked around with stuff too? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I see what you're saying. I see your point, and I can see the big transformation in Canelo. But at the same time, you need boxing skills, man. And the kid has that, and that's something that when I see certain people attack Canelo, they go a little overboard or sometimes way overboard. He's trash. No, he'll knock you out. He can, if you recklessly try to attack him, he'll knock you out. You know what I'm saying?
When I say Matrix, when I say recklessly, I don't mean like there's always a tactic to brawling. It ain't just it ain't just going in all out. Like you have a plan before you go in, and he didn't do none of that shit. He was more tentative. I guess he probably wasn't sure about the power of Canelo. And then when he tasted it somewhere around the 8th round or something like that, where he put like all into it, I don't think he has any more respect for the power. I think this second time around, he's just going to crush him. Possibly. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, speaking about this fight, it's also interesting that, what's his name? Paulie Malignaggi makes a good point that, by the way, Matrix, recognize, could you mute your mic, please, man? Where there's a lot of, you can hear the traffic. Thanks, man. Yeah, Canelo, Paulie Malignaggi always says that it's better, he prefers it to end the round stronger than to start it fast. In other words, he'd rather save his energies and then use them up in the later parts of the round so that that's the last thing the judges remember, usually. So the thing is this, Canelo is a front runner. He started the fight fast against Triple G, trying to impress him, trying to intimidate him, and it worked. For the first 3 rounds, he was backing Triple G up, but he was also, a lot of his shots were sliding off of Golovkin's forehead and his elbows and all that. And then by the 4th, 5th round, as always, Canelo started slowing down and Triple G started putting it on him. And then when Canelo made his comeback and got his second win around the 10th, 11th round, again, he blew his wad early in the rounds. And then by the end of the rounds, he was on the defensive, clinching, trying to buy time. Do you guys think he's going to try in terms of that, of the rhythm and the pace of the fight, do you think he's going to try to start this time slower? And can that make a difference?
Canelo?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think he's a smart enough kid that he'll try to he'll make adjustments in the fight. Would it serve him better to, the thing about Triple G, right? Would it serve him better to start off slow? What does Triple G usually do if he starts off slow? He starts putting that pressure with the jab, leading with the jab, and what if he gets caught with some shots? Because that's where Triple G is most effective. When the opponent's thinking, right, or not much activity, Triple G's he's getting the rhythm of his punches, and I thought my opinion, I thought Canelo's game plan in the first fight the first 3 rounds, at least, was a good game plan, in my opinion. Now, did he wear out? Yeah, he did. He wore it out because the guy you're hitting, man, when you're hitting somebody and he's not, you know, you may get his attention here and there, but when you're not really hurting him and he's just coming forward, what happens? You start to get tired.
Mm-hmm.
You start to get a little tired.
That's
the reason why Canelo got tired is because he was getting out jabbed like crazy. Like he was getting jab, jab, jab. Even though you can't see it sometimes because his head is so gigantic. When he gets hit, it barely moves from its position. And when you replay and watch the shit, you see like his head just boink, boink, constantly getting jabbed and jabbed. And then he runs. When you run, you're wasting it. You're just getting tired. Even Mayweather, when he runs, every 2 rounds, like he runs and then a round he takes a little break. And then he runs the other 2 rounds. You know, it doesn't come, but he kept on running and running, and he gassed himself out. And that's exactly how he's going to do the same the second time around. He's not going to stand toe-to-toe with him. He might stand toe maybe, you know, once or twice. After that, it's just, you know, he's just going to start running. That's his thing. That's how he's going to be able to. Yeah.
Was it me or Canelo was trying to establish, like, toe-to-toe and lateral movement in the fight? I thought that's what he was trying to establish.
He tried to, but then
like to do it in spots and then use some lateral movement back.
Then when he got hit with that right hand, it was like, oh God, no, let me just change my mindset on this.
Well, it was a hard punch, and he's smart enough to say, oh shit, you know, like this dude, he does punch hard, because you don't know your opponent until you actually get hit by them, right? Even if you sparred with them in the past, when you're fighting in front of everybody, and you know there's a little difference to your punch, right? So maybe for Canelo, and I believe this to be true, maybe for Canelo it's just that he had to adjust his game plan, and while he was thinking, that's when Golovkin started doing his work, and that's why I say I thought Canelo's game plan in the first 3 rounds of the fight, of trying to bring the fight to Golovkin, I thought it was a good game plan. The only problem with that is Golovkin's incredible pressure and his stamina, right? He's going to keep coming, and we saw it. We saw him get hit with flush shots as the fight went on, and he just keeps coming. I mean, Canelo, to a certain extent, I was surprised as the fight was going on that he didn't at least take a knee. Because he was, you know, I saw him with his hands down, and he was getting tired. You know, like his arms are starting to get a little heavy. And again with the clenbuterol and what he might have been taking, I understand that. I understand that it's a good possibility that he was on something on that fight, right? If I had to bet, I would say he was. But you know, he showed great resilience in my opinion to weather that storm, and have in the final rounds had some good moments.
The effect of Matrix. Sorry to cut you off. The effect of clenbuterol is that, it's still steroids. I don't know about clenbuterol. It's the shit that gives you stamina, pretty much. Any steroid that gives you stamina is pretty. What Paulie said. I never took the shit from Paulie. It's like a guy would be gassed out for a few rounds, right? After, let's say, the initial 3 rounds, he was good, and then say from 4 to 6, he gets tired, and then all of a sudden, he'll get this energy from nowhere.
Well, yeah, that's the benefit of the PED, man.
Steroid shit works like that.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because evidently you see what's going on here. I just brought up the subject that we would all watch Canelo fight Triple G again, despite everything that's gone on. People in the chat room, for the most part, are talking about that one as well, although there are some people that don't want to talk about Canelo Triple G. So my point was just to illustrate that fight. You see how in depth we went into it, despite us saying that we didn't want to watch that fight anymore and that fuck Canelo. That's a pretty good fucking fight to watch. I
said I want to watch that, man. I never said I don't.
Well, not you, but I'm talking overall. You know, the royal we. It seems like most people were complaining about that fight, and then now look at us talking about it. People in the chat room talking about it. It's a compelling fight, man. And if we were living in the perfect world, I would hope that the Nevada State Athletic Commission would say, listen, 1 night only. Both guys are allowed to. All right, boxing style, please, man.
My bad.
Please.
I think where boxing style lives at, everybody owns a motorcycle.
Everybody, I think he lives around a bunch of bikers or something.
Yeah.
What's going on here? I mean, this is insane. All right, listen.
Member of the outlaw, bro.
All right. Now, I want to talk about Sarah McOliver in the chat says, this is a beaner stream. I tell you something. We got rid of Gaia 500 because he was racist. Now we got the female version or the human version of Gaia 500 in the chat room. I gotta tell you, Sarah, you better get right with the Lord, all right? Because that type of talk around here doesn't cut it, all right?
Yeah, you need Jesus in your life.
You need Jesus or a brown dick inside of you. I think that would you need somebody that's gonna fuck the racism out of you. What's that?
Either one, Jesus or
yeah. Well, Jesus was probably Jesus was probably brown, so yeah. Ask for Jesus to fuck you. So
I heard Jesus was a Jew. That true?
Well, of course, Jesus was a Jew.
Jesus was black. Jesus was black. I don't know what all them white has been talking to you about.
Okay, we're not gonna go down that road. Listen, let's move on from subject then. I wanted to bring up something because we talked about Lomachenko this last 2 podcasts, but there's still a couple of new developments coming in about Lomachenko. First of all, Bob Arum says he wants Lomachenko-Beltran to happen, and he wants it on pay-per-view. Let me tell you something, Bob. Bad idea. Nobody does well on pay-per-view nowadays, and especially when you have a guy that's fighting free on ESPN. His last 2 fights were good on paper. Now all of a sudden you want to put him on pay-per-view against Raimundo Beltran, who's probably out of his last 4 opponents is the oldest and probably the one on the most on the downslide. Come on.
I mean, if there was going to be a pay-per-view experiment, he should have did it for this fight that Linares.
Exactly.
I mean, he's doing it backwards. So Raymond Beltran, Raimundo Beltran, I have no real interest in that fight if it was to take place. I mean, I'll watch it, of course, because I like Lomachenko's style, but I really don't have no interest in that fight.
Yeah, neither do I, man. But apparently, ESPN says that Lomachenko already has a fight penciled in for August. He just fought right now in May. He's already got to find out. So they're probably going to put him in there against Beltran, a guy he can handle more or less. Then again, you never know. I mean,
did you guys see the Robert Easter versus what's his name?
But hold on, boxing style. We can't change this. We can't just change the subject. Jesus. But here's the thing. Beltran is. Do you guys still think Beltran is kind of dangerous in the early rounds?
Yeah, early rounds, like you say, but. I don't even against Lomachenko. I don't see where he makes it an interesting fight at all. I just see him getting thoroughly outboxed and probably stopped 6th round. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's somebody. Look, man, if they want to go that route, I don't care. I mean, Lomachenko. Look at all the good fighters Lomachenko fought. Not that I'm excusing him to cherry pick, right?
Right.
But. It seems to be the MO for most boxers. If they do it, fine. Just don't fucking put it on pay-per-view. When you had Linares, you had Lomachenko versus Linares. If there was any fight you were going to try the pay-per-view route, should have been that fight.
Exactly.
Don't do it backwards.
Matrix. Apparently, everything Lomo picks is a cherry pick because they all suck compared to him, bro.
That's so true.
Technically, bro, it's like all cherry picks. Like, you think Mikey Garcia ain't a cherry pick for him? In my eyes, he is a cherry pick because he's slow. He's gonna throw so many punches at him.
I can see the fight being built up, right? And then Lomachenko beats him. Let's say he was to beat him, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
And it was a cherry pick. Come on, everybody knows Mike Garcia is a quitter, and then
yeah, exactly.
Or he quit against Orlando Salido. Never mind that. A lot of people think that he has a really good shot of winning, including myself. I think he has a good shot of winning.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. I mean, listen, Lomachenko.
How hard? My bad, BDA. How hard does Mikey Garcia hit compared to Linares?
Much harder, man. Much harder.
It is hard, but I don't think it would be much of a difference.
Mikey Garcia is heavy-handed, man. What was that?
You say much harder, or I would say maybe slightly harder.
Yeah, slightly. It's not that much of a difference.
I'll tell you why I think first of all, he's heavier handed. He's got better precision, and he can punch with both hands. Whereas Linares, it's mostly that right hand.
There goes the bikes. I think he lives by Rough Riders in his side of town.
Oh, Mike, I'm sorry, man.
I think he lives in a NASCAR raceway or something. That he's living there. He's barbecuing. You know, he lives in.
I got the windows out. Open and shit. There's cars going by. That's why.
All right, but keep in mind, man. Keep in mind that if people are listening to this on Spreaker now and probably soon on other platforms, and all of a sudden they're gonna hear, "Wow," you know, like a fucking car.
We're on Stitcher now on Google Music.
Real quick, BDA. I still listen to that little soundbite.
You're obsessed with. You're obsessed with that, man. He dropped a bunch of cans, man.
He was talking, and like I don't know what happened. I don't know what you did, Boxing Style. I don't know if you dropped the whole closet on you or what it was. But all I heard was BDA say, "Oh, come on, what the hell's going on?" He starts laughing, and Stu is like, "What's going on out there?"
Yeah, because he was just.
Till that day, I can't walk anymore. Something happened.
Good, you deserve it. I hope that taught you a lesson.
Nah,
but well, yeah, the thing about so that's what I'm saying about Garcia. I think he punches better with both hands, and I think he's heavier-handed than Linares.
Yeah, I can see the heavier-hander for sure. I could definitely see that in better precision. So, yeah, I mean, I still think that Linares was a good win. I thought that, you know, I knew he was going to give him a good shot. I don't want to brag, but I knew he was going to give him a good run. You know, I still say he clearly was losing the fight. I don't understand the scorecards. You know, the best you could do for Linares was 3 rounds.
Recognize. Greg is asking, can you recognize at what time his shower is tonight, please? Why that's a creep? That's a fucking creepy question, man. Like he wants to watch you shower or something, man.
Maybe you got a crush on some.
He's like, will it be live streamed?
Yeah, will he be live streaming? Will he be live streaming the Washington?
Greg,
oh my God.
Your name was Sasha, maybe. I would tell you.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
What's Boxing Style's alter?
Nobody named Greg.
What's Boxing Style's alter ego? What was it? Susanna or what was it?
No,
Susanna. Anna.
Annabelle, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, did I introduce you to our new supercomputer?
Nope.
What happened?
We got rid of Gaia 500 finally, and now we got a new one.
Got a virus?
No, I don't know how he handled it, but the new supercomputer took care of it.
I am Mammon 1000. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
There we go. Mammon 1000. I gotta tell you guys, the name sort of has biblical implications, and that sort of puts me a little nervous, but I don't think anything is gonna go wrong with this one. Nothing ever goes wrong with artificial intelligence. Nothing. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be smooth sailing from here on out. All right. So we're talking about Lomachenko, Mikey Garcia. I gotta tell you, fuck putting Beltran and Lomachenko on pay-per-view. I think we can all agree on that. Lomachenko just fought the #1 lightweight in the world who had fast hands and was skilled, and he fucking dropped him in the 10th round. So are we really gonna go from that to watching Lomachenko against a guy who we all know he beats on paper, and we have to pay extra to watch it? Get the fuck out. That makes no business sense. So I wonder if Bob Arum is sort of like just throwing that out there to I don't know, slow down negotiations or maybe throw a curveball to Mikey Garcia. What do you guys think?
I was gonna say, when is the Robert Easter Mikey Garcia fight?
That's a good question, man.
Yeah, they're supposed to. That fight's not penciled in, right? Or there's just talks that they're gonna fight.
They're gonna fight, man. Robert Easter's a joke, though, man. I saw that fight with what's his name? Fortuna was beating his ass. He was throwing illegal shots just to survive.
He doesn't use his height at all.
I was gonna say that. What a waste of height. Like his height is not even used at all, man.
He's shit.
6 feet tall, fighting at lightweight, and he doesn't use his height. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's really.
He's gonna get killed against Mikey Garcia.
Unless he improves. Unless he improves.
Schools him. I think Mikey Garcia is gonna school him easy.
Unless he improves, right?
Well, I mean,
if he improves, he will last a bit longer.
Right. Right, I agree. Bucho, if he like what Bucho said, if he improves, probably gives it a better fight if he lasts that long. But I see him going into that fight. You know, he'll find out that he's weight drained because Mikey Garcia is going to be the guy that makes lets him know, dude, you shouldn't be fighting in this weight class. Not against me, at least.
I mean,
looks like skinny as fuck, man. I don't know.
But
I don't know if
he's
he can
got a
take a punch.
76. He's got a 7. You know what's the dead giveaway? The 76-inch arm reach. Okay, now that means he's got wide shoulders, right? His shoulders are definitely wide for fighting at light heavyweight. I mean, he should be a light heavyweight at lightweight, right? So this is a guy who should more likely be fighting at 147, if not 154, with that kind of arm reach. You know,
that's a good point. It's like Corrales. His shoulders weren't that wide. If you look at
right, he just had long arms. Like I don't know what his arm reach was. I forgot, but I think it was like in the lower 70s. And but like you said, Bucho, he had short. His shoulder width, the width of his shoulders weren't that wide. They were skinny, you know, and this guy's the total opposite. So I don't know how the fuck he's doing 135. That's insane.
Hey, did you guys hear that Lomo was injured in the second round?
Jeez, Boxing Style, you're all over the place today, man. Yeah, I heard somebody in the comments mentioned that, and it did kind of look a little bit like he was still throwing both hands. So I don't know how injured he might have been. But if he was injured, that makes it impressive that he was able to stop a guy like Linares despite being injured.
If he wasn't injured, then he would have finished him at the 7th to the 8th round, huh? What about that?
Yeah, that's yeah, maybe that prediction.
It's part of boxing. I mean, you got to credit the guy that that's making him get injured. You know, it's part of boxing. When you throw in punches, maybe he hit an elbow, maybe he hit a part of Linares' head or body that made his hand break. So it's part of boxing. I don't make so much of a big deal out of that.
Well, it's interesting because you guys are mentioning we're back to Lomachenko, and I wanted to talk about how not Mikey Garcia, but Bob Arum says he doesn't really want to negotiate with Mikey Garcia. He says he doesn't like he doesn't like the way Garcia negotiates. He said, "I'm gonna make him an offer, and if he doesn't like the number, fuck him." That's what he actually said. Loma said, so I mean, but I mean he's got a point because it's Mikey Garcia. It's always something, man. He leaves Top Rank. And as soon as he starts fighting again, he goes, "Oh, I want Terence Crawford and Lomachenko, two of the guys that belong to Bob Arum on the Bob Arum stable, in a stable in which you were supposed to be on, but you wanted out." So I mean, this guy's a fucking enigma, man. I don't know.
He knows he won't get those names.
Exactly. You know something? You know what it reminds me of? Remember that high school kid? Once some guy just stepped up. Who wants to fight me? And he heard him say it, and he waits till the guy leaves and says, "Yeah, I want to fight him right now. Tell him to come back."
Nope, everybody dropped off. Boxing
I
Style,
think Mike. Yeah, I'm the only one here.
Did you do this? Is this your doing?
Guy 500. That's who's responsible.
It's Mammon 1000, the new one.
Mammon, guy 500 is hiding somewhere. Tell him that.
Maybe, but yeah, but what he was recognized was about to make a very good point about schoolyard politics and how it always. I was always the guy that would challenge somebody, or somebody would challenge me, and I would tell my friend, "Hold me back," and then they would hold me back, and I get like, "You're fucking lucky my friend's here to hold me back." So that's how I always got out of trouble.
I'm sure Mikey Garcia won't have anything against fighting some couple of more cherry picks.
Well, that's what he said after he fought Lipinets, or before or after, I forget. He says, "Oh, I want Lomachenko after 3 more fights." Why 3 more fights? He's already had a bunch of comeback fights, including 2 wins over a win over Broner, and now a win over Lipinets, and of course we had that good win over Sladikanen, which was a top lightweight, so undefeated at that too. So I don't understand why this fucking thing. Yeah, I already did that. I don't understand why. He says he wants him in 3 more fights.
Hello.
Yep.
I'll tell you why he wants him in 3 more fights.
What is that?
Because he wants to be the A side, and he has a feeling he's hoping. I don't know if he has a feeling. He's hoping he can stay 12 rounds with Lomachenko and get a gifted decision. If he's the A side, he takes over the referees. He takes over the judges. That's how. I mean, Lipinet's fight was pretty goddamn close. Some people are saying that Lipinet's won, and I haven't even actually rewatched that fight. But I sit there and rewatch it. I can tell you guys whether if Lipinet's actually won that fight or it was. This is really, really close. I don't know who actually won. I just went with Mike Garcia because he got the knockdown. That's the only reason why. Now, I'm a fan of Mike Garcia, but not too much of a fan. I think he's hesitant to fight Lomachenko. If you watch his interview, he doesn't feel confident to fight the guy. He's very hesitant to fight him. Feels like he'd be outboxed.
That's an interesting point. That he. I respect Mikey Garcia's skills, and I do think some people are underrating him. But I mean, the actions outside of the ring and some of the things he says, you can't get a read on the guy on whether he actually wants to box the best or whether he's just in it for the money right now. Recognize, what were you saying about schoolyard politics?
Yeah, I was just saying, you know, he reminds me, in that situation at least, he reminds me of that guy that calls out everybody, says, I want to fight. Whoever wants to fight, come on, step up. And nobody steps up, but then this one guy waits till that guy leaves, and he's like, oh, I'll fight him if he would have stood. Come on, let's go. Like, why didn't you say that when he was calling everyone out? Saying, let's fight. You know, that's what it reminds me of. Just like, you know, some pussy shit.
Yeah, it's very pussy shit.
Again, Mikey Garcia has a good shot. I think he has a very good shot of beating Lomachenko. You know, I'll pick Loma over him, but he has a real good shot.
Yeah, I definitely think he's got a good shot. And I think now, you know, some people are saying, well, Lomachenko got dropped. He got dropped. He didn't have as easy a time as people thought he was going to against. Because again, that's why I asked the question on Saturday before the fight. I said, guys, are we making Lomachenko out to be this guy that's going to wipe the floor with everybody else? And it turns out...
Yes, he is. Trust me. He's just only getting better. What we just saw, the Lomachenko that we saw, was it last weekend, is a better Lomachenko that faced, what was his last fight? Rigo? Was his last fight, right? Before this one.
Yeah, Rigo.
He's better than the Rigo one. He's better than the one he fought in Mariaga. He chose to fight like that. He chose to fight to get hit. He just wanted to show some entertainment. But he's getting better. His shots are getting harder. He's getting stronger too at the same time. By the time he fights Mikey Garcia, he's a totally different. If that fight ever happens, it's gonna be a totally different guy.
You know what I like about that fight with Linares? He looked like he was going for the knockout, and he got it. I'm talking about Lomachenko. He looked like he was going for the stoppage. Like after he got dropped, he was looking to make a statement, right? And so it didn't stop his aggression, but he did it smarter. Like he was just doing it a bit smarter. And again, I thought the uppercuts set up in my opinion, I just thought the uppercuts started to set up the body shots, and you know, he got it. So I still look at that as a great performance, even though he got dropped. Do I think that Lomachenko is going to wipe out everybody? That's hard to say. You don't, because a fight is a fight. You never before this fight with Linares, I still wouldn't say, you know, he's definitely going to wipe out everyone. You know, he's going to definitely he has the tools as a boxer to wipe out top-notch fighters. But saying that he's definitely going to do it, nah, I don't. You gotta prove that.
Yeah, it's you can't predict the future. That's true. You can't. But I mean, I'm gonna have to roll the dice and say he is, because the way he's performing, it's possible.
You see you see the overall skill set. And you say, damn, that's more than capable of wiping out top-notch fighters. And I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But the thing that what makes boxing great is the intangibles, the things that you don't know what's going to happen. You know, can you come back from adversity, right? When you get dropped or you get caught with a good shot. And I thought Lomachenko definitely answered that. He got dropped. He got caught with some good shots, you know, and he still went for the knockout, but he did it like he made some little adjustments and still got the result that he was looking for. And that was the knockout. So,
well,
Man,
that's an interesting
that
point
fight, sorry about
because
BDA. That fight, Linares only won
What?
2 rounds.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What?
Like barely.
I can't hear. Bucho, can you hear people?
Yeah.
All right, let me do a test. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Listen, I just want to say something. The thing about Lomachenko, because Boxing Style said, well, Lomachenko's still improving. That's true. I mean, he can still improve. The guy's very smart. But we also have to keep in mind that he just fought the best lightweight in the world. And like I mentioned in the other episode, that who else has a hand speed and the experience that Linares had at lightweight? I mean, let's put it into perspective. Lomachenko did have to fight at 120% just to get that stoppage. But even then, if you consider that he was fighting the best guy in the division, and he more or less wiped the floor with him in that last round with that body shot, I'm having a hard time seeing anybody at lightweight really who I would favor against him. That being said, Mikey Garcia, let's not get it twisted here, guys. The guy has very good precision. He doesn't need, some people will say, well, he's flat-footed, but he doesn't need to fight to be fleet-footed. It's like Linares wasn't necessarily the fastest feet. He didn't have the fastest feet in the world, and he was doing a good job of staying in front of Linares and of Lomachenko and trying to counter him and all that. And don't forget, Mikey Garcia is a very big guy himself, and heavy-handed and precise.
Mikey Garcia is smaller than Linares.
I don't know about that, man. Have you seen?
He's wider. Linares is a wider guy who drains himself to get to that weight class. Mikey Garcia is a smaller guy, but a big head though. He has a huge head.
I was gonna say that fucking head, man.
Yeah, he's a massive head. He's like he has a Canelo head, bro.
He's a mind
you talking about Linares?
Yeah, no. What's his name? Mikey Garcia. Yes.
Oh, his head. Yeah.
It's like they took the same drug or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Head.
Or he's just a Mexican head. Maybe say Mexican head.
Like a big ass blockhead.
Yeah,
he's a blockhead, yeah. But anyway, that's a fight that I'm looking forward to. I'm not that interested in seeing on paper. I'm not that interested in seeing Lomachenko fight anybody else. Although if he does fight, for example, let's say Robert Easter Jr. beats Mikey Garcia, then of course that's a fight that I would like to see. Lomachenko versus Javier Fortuna, maybe, why not? Interesting. But Beltran, it's just his last couple of fights, he slows down in the late rounds, and he gets hit too easily. So, yeah, he's got a good left hook to the body and all that, but that's not. I know Bob Arum is probably gonna make it because he's dead set on making it, and he keeps all the money in-house. But don't do it, Bob. Come on, Bob. Got us a break.
No, definitely don't make it pay-per-view.
Nah, he should do it just for Lomachenko to get the titles, because he said he wants to stay at 135 for a little bit before he moves up, or I don't know what he does afterwards.
Shut up! I just said I don't want to see it, and that's final. You tried to.
I'm not seeing it. I'll watch it, bro. He's gonna get a title, two titles.
Man, fuck the titles. Fuck the titles. Who cares about titles? And by the way, I wanted to ask everybody, since we're here, I asked what's his name, Pavel, what fight he was looking forward to the most this coming Saturday. I'll start with Boxing Style. Boxing Style, which fight are you looking forward to the most this Saturday?
I don't know, man. I think maybe Adonis Stevenson and Dadu Jack, but I think Adonis is gonna knock him out. Without a shadow of a doubt, I think he's gonna knock him out. But the thing with Gary Russell and what's his name, Diaz. Joseph Diaz, I think that'll be a more interesting fight because I really don't. I'm gonna pick Joseph Diaz, but I'm not entirely sure who would really win that fight. Not entirely sure. I can't say 100%.
All right, I'm gonna get some predictions later on. Again, that's what we're gonna start doing. We're gonna start writing the predictions down. So think about that one, about all the fights.
Yeah.
Recognize. What about you? Which fight are you looking forward to the most this Saturday?
Bottle Jack and Adonis Stevenson.
That's right. Everybody's, well, I mean, it's a logical choice, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not saying the Russell and Jojo Diaz, it's not going to be a good fight. I think it will. I think it has the potential of being a good fight. But Bottle Jack, I'm just interested in that with Adonis Stevenson because Bottle Jack has just gotten better over the last couple of fights. He's been really, he's had some big wins. Whether he got it on paper, in the ring, or some bogus decision like him and DeGale, he's been whipping ass. So, And then, of course, you got Stevenson, who can just end the fight with one punch, whether people don't like him or not. And I get it. I don't like him. You know, I don't like him personally, right, or how he handles his boxing career. But he can knock out any man at light heavyweight with just one punch. And
any man.
He's got good combinations. So it's an interesting fight. That's why, to me, that's the fight I'm looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I realized about Badou Jack is that he doesn't really fight good against somebody with a very good jab. Somebody with a very good jab. Groves beat him. Straight up beat him. I don't know what they were looking at. Groves beat him.
I thought, that was a good fight, but I thought Badou beat him. I mean,
and you know what?
Yeah. You thought Badou beat him, or you thought Groves beat him?
No, I thought Badou won the fight.
I thought Groves won that shit, man. Straight up, man. He got shafted in that fight because it was a Mayweather promotion.
Groves is a good fighter, man. Groves is a good fighter.
Not to me. It wasn't close, bro. Like it was. I would say if you say 8-4 is a close fight, then I guess that's a close fight. 8 rounds to fucking 4. Yeah, to me it was like something like 8-4, something like that, around that area.
I had a 6-6 plus the knockdown for Badou Jack.
It's good. I was impressed by the knockdown, but I wasn't overall, like, he couldn't do anything with that jab, man. When he was throwing that jab, I mean, every now and then he'll counter to the jab, but the majority he was going to be getting hit constantly and then getting hit with the right hand.
And you know what? Regarding Stevenson, I think people underrate how well can he set up his straight left, you know, with using his right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
he has
correct.
Many ways of doing that.
Pavel.
That's very well said, Pavel. That left hand, he gets it in there against everybody. Everybody he's fought in the last 8 fights gets dropped or stopped. It's amazing. This guy's got legitimate fucking power. And by the way, recognize you said that he has the power to knock out any man. I get the sense that you were gonna say woman as well, but you sort of like pulled back a little bit there.
Well, I mean, that was in his past life, I heard. You know?
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't do it anymore.
I don't know if he's still doing that, but you know, he's just that guy that was. He was just born with freakish strength. If you look at him, he kind of looks retarded. You know, those guys with the retarded looking face, they got like, you know.
No, wait a minute.
What are you saying, huh?
Yeah, what are you saying?
I'm saying the boy looks a little off. You know, he looks a little retarded in my opinion.
And what about Adonis Stevenson's past? Because some people say that he was a pimp and he would beat women, and that I don't. No, wait a minute, come on. All right, listen, that's not politically correct. Listen, but you're right. I mean, he does have that. Who was it that said? I forget which fight it was, but prior to that fight on Showtime, they were talking about how when he was in jail, he got into a fight with I think 4 or 5 dudes, and he dropped them all. And before the guards could get there, he had already dropped everybody. And I'm thinking that I can see that, man. I mean, this guy, Butcher, we've seen him in person, right, Stevenson? And you look at this guy's back, he's a fucking shit brick house, man.
Yeah, he's wide shoulders, man.
That's what I'm saying. This is why it's interesting, because some people were saying that Badou Jack is actually bigger than Stevenson. I don't know if that's entirely true.
No, Badou is definitely bigger than him.
You think so, man?
He does not have the power like Stevenson has.
Badou Jack got bigger over the last couple of years. I don't know if you. I'm not trying to start no rumors. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the man's taking anything, but he got pretty big, man. You know, he's listed at 6'1", and he fights at super. Well, he was fighting at super middleweight. Now he's a light heavyweight. I'm looking at that dude. I'm like, he looks like he's. I know TV makes you look a little bit bigger. But I'm saying he looks about my size. I'm 6'2", 225.
He looks natural.
He looks
man.
about that.
He looks natural, man. He just like eats a lot. That's all it is.
No, I'm not saying he. But I just thought that over the years, over the last couple of years, he got big. He was fighting at 168 when he got knocked out. Go look at him when he got knocked out by Edwards. Right when he got.
I can agree with that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say from that fight there, and now, he just looks like he packed on muscles, like it's.
He's been saying that he's growing ever since, I don't know, the day
he's growing body wise, because he's in his 30s. He's not growing height wise, that's for sure.
Yeah, like he's growing. Yeah, sorry, boxing style, just a sec. Like yeah, he's growing on one hand, but on the other hand, it's not like that kind of transformation that AJ went through when he went off the Olympics, right?
AJ's definitely on some
Oh no,
shit,
no,
man.
not like that. Not
Yeah,
like that. That's totally. I know what you're saying, Pavel. That's a big turnaround right there. But
yeah,
in terms of Bottle Jack, I could see that. I can see that from his standpoint. I remember in my 30s, that's when I started like to get pretty big. Like
yeah.
you just get bigger, you know,
Because your
especially if you're working
metabolism
out.
slows down, right?
Right, exactly. So you think about a guy working out, and his metabolism is slowing down at the same time. He's going to put on heavy, the muscles are going to be heavier, right? Because
Yeah.
muscles are heavier than fat. And I think that's what happened with him. Again, that's why I said I don't want to say that he's on something. That's why he's getting bigger. I just noticed that he's gotten to be a bigger man, and at least he looks like that in clothing. He looks like the taller, bigger man against Stevenson.
All right, but the
That's
point
true,
is
though.
this. The point is this. Like, is that strength gonna play a factor in the fight?
I'm gonna say that. Well, I think we should be focusing on the age and inactivity factors here.
What strength? Badu's size strength?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because what's going to happen is he's going to suck at coming in, and Stevenson's going to leave him out in the jab area and just pop shot him, and eventually take him out, man. That's what he's going to do.
This is what could happen.
If he can't get on the inside, BDA, he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Listen, if Badu Jack, and again, I've said this before, there's a lot of ifs that he has to get through in order to beat Stevenson. He has to get him tired, and he has to make his way on the inside. If he has a tired Stevenson on the inside, Badu Jack can fight on the inside very well. The problem is Stevenson can fight on the inside too. He's an underrated inside puncher.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah. That's why this is going to be ending on a KO where
those
Stevenson's
fucking uppercuts. Those uppercuts are. Oh man, I always remember that uppercut he hit Darnell Boone with, man. Oh man, just froze his ass.
But now Bucho is brought up a good point. The age. Is this the fight where Stevenson shows his age? Because he showed it against Thomas Williams Jr. and then he bailed himself out with that bomb of a left hand. If he can't hurt Badu Jack, does this fight look bad in the middle to late rounds?
Possibly if Jack is gonna have a game plan based on just being an overall more active fighter and just going through on to the distance, right, while at the same time being cautious about Stevenson's power left hand. But all I can see is Badu Jack is gonna get tired in the later portion of the fight, possibly in the last quarter, and just he's gonna get caught.
Well, that's a possibility, right? I mean, that makes sense, man. That's actually fuck. I don't know who to pick. First of all, before we continue, Russian in Boxing is in the chat room. Says Badu Jack is not bigger than Adonis. Badu was much smaller than Nathan Cleverly, who was a welterweight in his teens. So he's saying Badu Jack is not. Again, I have to ask, like, I think it was Boxing Style who brought this up first. Where did you see that? Like, what makes you think that Badu Jack is bigger in terms of overall size than Stevenson? Have you seen them at the press conference or whatever? Or?
No. Well, yeah, in the YouTube, yeah, I saw the difference between both of them. I mean, there's a considerable size difference between the two. And Badu is the bigger man. He's just growing. That's all he is. He's growing as a 30-year-old, like how Matrix said. He's a big guy. Badu's a big, strong guy. He could take hits. He could take shots, but how much shots he can take from Adonis Stevenson, that's a whole different story. Tony Belly's a big guy too. Tony Belly got KO.
So there you go, man.
Yeah, it's not like Stevenson's gonna just launch one punch and that's it. He's going to bash Jack's body, I guess.
Yeah. You know, when Badu Jack got knocked out, that was like a learning process, and I think that people may see that and say, well, he can definitely get knocked out, and Miguel knocked him down. It was like a flash knockdown, I think, in my opinion. But anyway, he's not that fighter anymore. He's as soon as he shoots off his combinations from the inside, he's got his guards back up. You know, like he brings his guards right back. He's technically more sound. He's got to establish inside game. If he can't do that, and he's on the outside, Badu Jack, who has excellent, defense from the outside and the inside at times, that's not going to work for Stevenson because he could penetrate through your guards. You know what I'm saying? He's going to penetrate. He has that kind of punching power. So I'm assuming he still has that punching power. That, again, he is getting older, and you never know when you start losing your strength too as well.
Right.
But he's got to establish the inside game. If not, he's not going to have much of a chance to win.
That's absolutely correct. And by the way, Pavel, we're hearing some static from your end. I think you're moving around and you're sleeping by or something. But I mean, that's okay. By the way, Bucho, did you get the link I sent you?
Yeah.
All right. What does that mean? Like, I'm gonna put it up on the screen because I don't understand these fucking nuts.
Well, anyways, Stevenson wins by KO. It's almost a 2-1
Okay.
favorite. So you put like whatever, $2, you double your money. Then Badu Jack is like a 4-1 if he wins by KO.
Okay, so who's the underdog on it? It's obviously Badu Jack then.
Oh, the overall, yeah, it's Badu Jack slightly.
Interesting, very interesting. So there you have it, guys. Adonis Stevenson is the favorite slightly. You never know what's going to happen as the fight gets near. The day before the fight, the weigh-in. Sometimes people are swayed by that. So it's definitely a very interesting fight, and we're talking about it. We're going to talk about it more later on during the week. But also we have to talk about the larger implications that this is probably the best division in boxing right now. I mean, you take a look at all the names that are in there. It's amazing. You got Kovalev, you got Stevenson, you got Bivol, you have Alvarez, who's going to be taking on Kovalev. You have Gvozdyk, who knows who he's going to fight next, but he's definitely one of the top guys. Beterbiev, who might just be the dark horse of the division. Barrera, he lost a little bit of cachet after he lost to Bivol, but he's still a pretty good guy. Joe Smith Jr., he's going to be coming back. Marcus Brown, he wanted to fight Kovalev. That fight fell out, but he's undefeated and he's quick-handed, so you never know. And then Badu Jack, who's going to be taking on Stevenson. I mean, let's say the winner of this fight. Would you want to see the winner of this fight against Kovalev, or would you rather see Kovalev against Bivol or Beterbiev? Like, what do you guys think?
Any one of those fights. Any one of those names you just mentioned, man, I would love to see.
Yep.
So there's not one particular fight that you would rather see?
The winner of this fight?
Yeah.
Fuck. If I had to pick one, okay, good question. Like always.
That's right.
That's right. Let me see. Fuck it. Kovalev.
First of all, what's with all the swearing, first of all?
I don't know. What's wrong with me today?
Yeah, what is wrong
way
with
too much.
Did you go to church today?
No. I went
that's the problem.
Sunday.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, you need to go again, man.
I haven't been there in a long time.
You need Jesus in your life, bro.
That's right.
Need some Jesus Christ, man.
All right, so come on, let's go. Which
Kovalev.
fight? Kovalev?
What were you saying, BDA? You were saying
I'm asking the winner of this fight against, who would you rather see the winner of this fight against? Like the number one fight on top? Because I mean, like I said, it's a packed division, so it's kind of hard to pick, but I'm pressing you on this one. You got to pick somebody.
Kovalev. Kovalev is the best in that division now, without a shadow of a doubt. He's
Pavel?
the best.
All right, so I want to get back to
Bivol's number. Well, maybe Bivol's number 2. Or we'll see how Adonis does. If maybe Adonis will be number 2. I don't know.
All right, see, I want to get back to that point you made about Bivol. Pavel, what about you? Which fight would you rather see?
I agree with Recognize that I would see Kovalev versus any of those guys, but the fight that I'd like to see the most, to be honest, is versus Stevenson, just to see Stevenson outboxed by Kovalev.
And then stopped.
And then stopped.
Yeah. Possibly, yeah.
It could happen. Yeah, that could happen.
Well, it's interesting because going back to what Boxitel said, he said he has Bivol #2. From what I read on the message boards and from what I heard on HBO the last time Bivol fought there, it seems like a lot of people are favoring Bivol over Kovalev right now if they were to fight.
That'd be a bad idea. Kovalev has really good a really good left hand, really good jab, and he's faster now than he was when he fought Ward.
Did you say he's faster?
I see him faster, yeah.
Huh.
It's weird.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, he did well, at least with those opponents.
Right.
The opponents that he was fighting. He looked like
I agree with boxing style.
Yeah.
You think the alcohol, Pavel, might have something to do with that? The lack of alcohol?
I guess so, man. The guy was drinking and doing all that shit and fighting Ward at the same time, and still kicked his ass technically 2 times, in my opinion. That last fight was DQ. That's a DQ, bro. That's not even a win.
Yeah, that's a disqualification, man. I'm with you, boxing style. I mean, I know it's official and it's over, but that's a disqualification.
Although we don't know, he's got Russian-speaking trainers, so maybe they drink vodka in their spare time, so we can speculate.
Well, isn't drinking vodka one little glass a day good for your health?
Supposedly, yeah. I heard that too, but I drink wine.
That's wine, not vodka, man.
No, I know. I'm saying, but I heard the same thing. But me, I stick to the wine. Like, wine is supposed to be good for your heart. You know?
That sounds like something drunks make up, you know? Like, oh yeah, it's good for you. It's good for you. That's why I drink.
Wait a minute. Are you accusing me of being a drunk?
No, not you, but the people that say that drinking vodka once, like, oh yeah, that, you know, I heard that shitting your pants while you're drunk once a day is good for you. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's not how it works. But
everybody, I have something to say. Oh, wait. I have something to say. I am not an alcoholic.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Yes, he is.
If you ask an alcoholic if he's an alcoholic, is he legally obliged to say it, or is that another myth that I'm making up right now?
He doesn't have to say it.
I don't know. I thought that's how it worked. Like, you have to go up to, like, if you ask an alcoholic, drug addict, whatever, somebody that's been through AA, they have to say, or else God strikes them down or something, right? Isn't that how it works?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm asking questions and nobody's answering. Anyway, Corruption in Boxing says Kovalev is a man of excuses. He has blamed everything and everyone from Lee Harvey Oswald to climate change for his losses. He didn't even complain after the Ward fight, which he should have done right after in the ring. He was too complacent in the ring. I mean, I think that was the time to complain. Afterwards, it's over, man. I don't want to. If you don't complain in the ring right after the fight, then I don't want to hear you complain at all.
I would tell you, got disqualified. I would, if I was Kovalev, I would.
Ah, shit. People dropped off again.
Only me.
I want to hear.
I was gonna say he probably didn't because of James Prince, man. James Prince he threatened him. I guarantee you.
That's what Precise said, but I don't. That's pure speculation. We don't have any
proof.
Did
you hear how he talked before the fight happened? Like he's like, I guarantee you, this time you're going down.
That was some shady ass shit, man.
Yeah, like, I guarantee you. I mean, that means that like you guys already set it up, and there's nothing you can do. And the way Kovalev was reacting to it is like, he's like, shit, I can't do anything about it.
So let me ask you this: why doesn't James Prince just do this all the time?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why doesn't James Prince just do this all the time against any time Ward fights? Would have been a whole lot easier than actually having to fight those people. He could just threaten them before the fight all the time and say, "Listen, in this run you're going down." Because the way Andrew Ward fights, he hasn't done himself any favors in terms of capturing the public's imagination.
It's a one in a lifetime. What do you call it? Gift. He only does it once. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think Kovalev. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pavel.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that Kovalev was just too mentally finished to do anything about that stuff.
But what do you mean? Why was he mentally finished? Was it because he was drunk? He wasn't gelling with John David Jackson, or?
Possibly all of those things, you know.
You know that there's also a rumor of John David Jackson drugging him.
I
With
mean,
the water. I'm not sure how much of that. That's why they didn't get along, and he kicked his ass out of the thing, his gym, or whatever his gym he's going to. I have no idea. That he didn't feel right. It felt like his muscles were relaxed during that fight, and he did look fucking awkward during that fight too. In the first fight, he wasn't like that. In the second fight, I noticed he was, even in the first 2 rounds where he was beating him before that bullshit ass stoppage. He was beating him by 5-2. He had 5 rounds up. Ward had 2 rounds up.
I believe I had it like that too. I think I had it 5 rounds.
But he
4
still,
rounds to 3. It's either one of the two.
But he still looked pretty relaxed. Kovalev looked way too, like not the Kovalev you see with Bernard Hopkins. Not the Kovalev you see in the first Ward fight. He looked very like not him. It just was awkward. It didn't look right. So I'm not gonna say 100% that shit is true that he drugged them, because there's shit going around about David Jackson talking to the Ward side of him switching over or some weird shit like that. There was like they talked to him. There was some weird shit going on in that fight, man. It was dirty as fuck. In the first fight,
there was a lot of weird stuff. You had Jay Prince sort of like insinuating threats to Kovalev at the press conference. There was like there was a weird vibe going into that fight. I remember that fight well because I was getting married on that same day. The same day I was getting married, and we were watching the fight. We put it on a projector and watched it on a big screen.
Congratulations!
And thank you, sir. Anyway, so my brother, right? I have 2 of my brothers were there, and one of them said one of them is a big Andre Ward fan, and he was cheering us, going crazy. And my other brother, who's like, he just criticized every boxer. He's not a fan of anyone. He's like, dude, that was a low blow. He's like, how are they stopping this fight from a low blow? And I'm like, I got to see the replay. And you can see it. He hit some low. I'm like, I think what happened here is that they went for it. I think the boxing corruption, the people that were immediately involved, they just went for it. They said, look, fuck, we don't care if it looks good or not. Just do what you got to do. When that moment comes, stop the fight. Just do what you got to do. And that's what I saw from there.
Look, it makes sense. I would put it past anybody. But okay, I'll ask. Recognize. You said that James Prince threatened him during the press conference. What exactly? And by the way, can you try to talk? Can you try to talk closer to the mic as well, please?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember exactly. Okay, so around that time, before the fight happened, there was a press conference, and Kovalev and Ward had been going at it back and forth. Some words were exchanged. I don't know what Kovalev said exactly, but I think people took it as a threat from Kovalev. And next thing you know, Jay Prince gets up there. He says, I got a message for Kovalev. And the message was like, calm your ass down, or, like something will happen. Basically, I didn't see what Kovalev made a threat. I just thought that Kovalev said something to the fact of, I'm going to knock you out. I don't respect you. Some shit like that, right? And Jay Prince and them were trying to flip the narrative, and there was a threat. You could look back at it, man. You could check out their press conference. He makes a threat, not directly that something's going to happen to you, but you can read into it as there was a little, threatening involved.
Right.
And from what I heard from Jay Prince, one time I asked a guy who's from Texas, Houston, Texas, I said, there's allegedly he was like a drug kingpin out there. And the guy said, no. There's nothing alleged about that. you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing alleged about that. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, but I'm still on. Yeah, go ahead.
So, what I'm saying is, look, I'm not saying the man was threatened to lose the fight. I don't think Kovalev was involved with the plan. This is just my opinion. He wasn't involved with the corruption. after the fact, he probably recognized it, right? Like, that's why you saw him there with that confused look. Like, I can't believe they just stopped the fight when the dude was hitting me low. You know, he probably recognized it after the fact or during the fight, maybe. But there was some shady shit. To me, that was the worst. That was the worst form of boxing corruption because they didn't even try to hide it. That's just my opinion. The guy's hitting him low throughout the whole fight, and then the referee stops the fight. And then they try to debate
slow motion, bro.
Yeah, and then they're trying to debate whether or not it was low. I'm like, what's the debate? What are we debating here?
Yeah.
First is like, oh, look at that! Oh, look at that nice body shot. That was kind of low.
Yeah, that was bullshit. The whole
that was kind of low. You know,
what are you talking about? Like,
I agree.
When Lomachenko is like, oh,
I agree that the whole
Lomachenko is in the pro leagues now. This is how we do it in the pro league, sitting in the nutsack. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, you're a better boxer than me. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? We hit you low.
I mean, that's been established, right? We all know that the fuck. Oh, go ahead, Pavel. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that I agree with you guys completely. And Boxing Style was gonna mention something about AJ fight. I think. Could you expand on that, bro?
AJ to come. They stopped it too early.
It was.
Should have went 2 more rounds, and they just like, oh, just because AJ got tired because he was getting clipped too. It wasn't like he wasn't getting clipped in that fight, but he was having the better of the rounds, most of the rounds. It seemed it could have been possible because Takam has a dog in him that he could have probably took him out. And they're like, oh shit! As soon as he gets rocked, let's take him out of the fight.
I mean, I don't.
Plus the cum was cut, you know, so that only had another excuse to stop it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that stoppage wasn't a good stoppage, but I understand. Here, how can I phrase this? I can understand how they sold it. Okay, how they sold it. The Andre Ward Kovalev 2. They didn't care about how they were going to sell it. It was like, no, Ward's winning the fight. That's it.
Exactly.
Okay? He's winning the fight. As soon as you know we catch him with a nut combination that makes him, you know, buckle or whatever, stop the fight. You know.
Look, listen. I agree with the whole thing about Kovalev. Hold on, please. I'm talking. The whole thing about Kovalev Ward, I can understand. Yeah, those low blows, that was fucked up, and that wasn't you know, just bad refereeing. There was some corruption there. But what I'm trying to get to is the threats that were made, and that Kovalev was threatened. I mean, that he was walking down the ring. People say he looked you know, lethargic. Well, people also say that he was a drunk. So maybe it had something to do with the fucking constant drinking and not taking care of himself. You know, a fighter, when he's walking, they say that fighters, no matter how hard they train, most of the time, a lot of guys, they never feel like they trained enough for a fight. So maybe Kovalev knew he hadn't trained, in the back of his mind, he knew he hadn't trained as well as he should have. But this whole threat thing, I don't know. Look, is James Prince a shady figure in boxing? Yes, but we don't have any proof. And the fact of the matter is, Ward hit him below the belt. Nobody said shit about it. It shouldn't have been a stoppage. And that's what happened there. I don't know about the threats. I don't know about the poisoning. I don't know about aliens in the microwaves to fuck with his brain. I mean, that to me just, we saw what happened in the ring. It was low blows and nothing was done about it. That's essentially what happened.
BDA, I don't think, just a sec, Boxing Style, I don't think that you should take that rumor Jay Prince and Virgil Hunter spread that, oh, Kovalev is a vodka drinker, and John David Jackson as well. I mean, look, it's a confirmation bias. If you have a Russian athlete, just because he's Russian, he must be drinking vodka, yeah, and people are jumping on that bandwagon, and it's pretty fucking annoying.
Well, didn't that come from Ward's, I mean, from Kovalev himself, that he said that, yeah, I wasn't training properly and I wasn't taking care of myself and I was doing things that I shouldn't have done?
Yeah, the thing is, after you take a loss, even though you probably won that fight, you know, and you got that loss, it's like you're like, man, I could have done better, you know.
Right.
If I just done better, it doesn't matter what they did, because if you KO the guy, who cares if they're against you? You won the fight.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I'm not arguing that.
That's how he felt. That's how.
But I'm not arguing.
That's when he kept talking against the media, and then he ended up like going against whatever he said. He contradicted himself.
Okay, but I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing the fact that he was threatened, and that's why people said he lost, because he was threatened. There's no proof that he was threatened. We don't know.
No. I'm not saying that. When I said that, I heard what sounded like a threat. I'm not saying that that's what made him throw the fight. I said there was some shady circumstances going on in that fight. Like Jay Prince, someone could read into that. I gotta look up that interview. And,
right. Listen,
that press conference.
Because you guys are saying he was. Yeah, you guys are saying he was threatened. I can see that. I wouldn't be surprised. And since you guys are saying it, I do take a pause and I say, maybe they have a point. But at the end of the day, we have no proof, so we can't just go around saying, "Oh yeah, James Prince threatened him. That's why he lost." You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. I don't think that had anything personally. The fix was in my opinion. The fix was in. I think Jay Prince was just telling Kovalev there was like some intimidation. Chill out with your words. You know, like,
and by the way,
don't
John David, the John David Jackson. I can't even say his name. John David Jackson. David Jackson.
That's right.
There you go. Him. I think with that drug shit, it's a possibility because he looked fucking awful in the second round. And like, not just the whole fight. In the whole fight, he just felt like drained or whatever. They gave him like some kind of. He wasn't like alert like he was in the first fight. It was more like steady paced, very relaxed, but like too relaxed, extremely relaxed. I mean, I understand being relaxed, but that was extremely relaxed. And there's like it seemed like it was a muscle relaxer because it's not like Kovalev didn't get punched in the nuts in the first fight. He did. He did get punched. He got elbowed. He got knee to the face. He got all kinds of shit. But he still won that fight. He still won the fight.
Yeah.
But in this one, he got hit, but his reaction was different because maybe there's something that was in the water that John David Jackson was giving him.
Could be, or could be he was stunned from the right hand he ate a couple of seconds earlier.
Nut shot after that was before he got hit with the right hand. But either way, still like. Yeah, listen, muscle relaxation could make it muscle relaxation. Relaxing. I can't even speak right now.
At the
relaxing shit. That the drug that whatever they maybe was given to him.
I'll tell you something that's more. Okay, I'll tell you something that's more. That's less far-fetched. It was the fact that we had Randall Bailey here back in September 2017, the day before the Canelo Triple G fight, and I was asking him about John David Jackson. I said, you know, there's this whole thing. You trained with John David Jackson. There was that famous instance where Randall Bailey wasn't letting his hands go, and John David Jackson was telling him, let him go, let him go. And then finally, John David Jackson just walked out of the corner and went backstage. And so I asked Randall Bailey, what do you think about John David Jackson? And Randall Bailey said, I don't like the guy. He never trained with me. He never, you know, he would hold the pads every once in a while, but he wouldn't give me proper instructions. He wouldn't give me any specifics. We wouldn't work on gameplay. That's what Randall Bailey said. So I don't know if it's true or not, but based on what's happened with John David Jackson and Kovalev, they seem to be pretty tight. When Jean Pascal called Kovalev a racist, and then John David Jackson defended Kovalev, maybe that's because he was getting paid at the time, John David Jackson, he didn't want to upset the gravy train. I don't know. But based on what Bailey said, and based on what Kovalev said, and based on what we saw about, you know, John David Jackson communicating with Virgil Hunter and Andrew Ward's team before this rematch, there's definitely some shady shit there with John David Jackson. But I would love to talk to John David Jackson and hear his side of the story. Because we you know, it's all speculation. We can only take bits and pieces of what we hear and try to put it together and try to coalesce a grand theory of what happened. By the way, we got Stu back on the line. Stu, are you there?
What's happening? What's happening?
Good to have you back. You sound like you were drinking some like syrup there or something.
No, I've just got up. I've just had a little half an hour nap. I'm fucking knackered, man. I had a stressful day today, so a bit mentally drained. So I needed a little half an hour nap. Just woke up, made a cup of tea, and I see you guys are still on. So I thought I'd pop on and have a little half an hour chat with you. Good
to have you back. And by the way, the Shepherd of Sons is saying that since I'm defending Andrew Ward, I might be Andrew Ward myself. Come on, I mean, listen, we got to keep it fair. I'm not saying.
I think you are.
You do defend Andrew Ward,
but I'm not saying that there was
a lot of people. A lot when you talk about that shot that hurt Kovalev. What a lot of people don't mention is Kovalev got hit with that or some noise. I think it's recognised, man. Some noise, man.
Cooking again. I'm cooking. Sorry.
Cooking and showering.
When Ward hurt Kovalev with that shot, a lot of people don't mention the reason Kovalev got hit with that shot, because he was actually, if you watch it, he was actually covering up his balls, and he had his hands down. He got to the stage where he was actually covering up his balls instead of covering up his face, and that's why he got caught with the shot for me. I mean, if you look back, you'll see it, because, like I said, Andre Ward hit him with a good, clean shot, massive shot it was. I'll give Ward credit for that, but Kovalev had his hands down at the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the fucking nut shots. That's what did it. I'm not saying that James Prince didn't threaten him. I'm not saying that he wasn't poisoned, but I'm saying to me it's more what we saw in the ring is the proof, the corruption, that he was hitting the balls and that the HBO team overlooked it, the referee overlooked it. But it does seem strange that Kovalev didn't complain too much. But then again, my contention is I think he was just beat up. You know, he took a right hand. He was
beat up. Exactly. He took a right hand. He got stunned, and then all those low blows were taking its toll, man. I mean, the guy was out of it.
I'll tell you what, mate. I mean, them low blows were as bad as the shots that Andre Gallotta was hitting Riddick Bowe with, and we only have to see the grimace of Riddick Bowe lying on the floor after he took them shots. So Kovalev had very little in the tank at the start of the fight. So when you're getting hit clean from a light heavyweight in the bollocks, it's going to take its toll. Kovalev didn't look fit to me. The noise is really doing me head in, boys. I can't handle this. I'm serious. I can't talk with that noise.
Who is it? Right.
Crack on. I forgot what I was going to say now, man. Fucking hell.
Low blows,
It's hard
Riddick
to
Bowe.
talk with that noise in the fucking background, man. I swear to God.
Riddick Bowe. What were you saying? Shit, I forgot.
No, I was just saying about the low blows. I mean, you know what I mean? Kovalev weren't fit as it was in that fight. You know, them shots would take it out on any man. And let's be real, he was slow, lethargic in the ring. Just wasn't the same man that he was in the first fight. And I don't know what it is. It could be the alcohol. It could be. I don't think it's because he got threatened. I just don't see that. I mean, a lot of fighters.
But did you see Kovalev winning against Ward in the second fight before the stoppage? Obviously,
it was. I think it was very close. I might have had him a round up or two. Yeah, I think I might have had him a couple of rounds. But Ward was coming back into the fight. But Kovalev was getting sloppy. Kovalev was getting very lethargic with his shots. Do you know what I mean? And I could see Ward, you know, coming on strong in the later rounds. And like I said, the punches in the bollocks don't help, do they? Let's be real.
Yeah, as I said, he didn't look up to you know, like the first fight, like all alert and everything, very you know, focused. He looked more like how Stu says, lethargic and everything, and that's because something happened. I don't think he wasn't trained right. He was fit for that fight. He wanted to come back. That's you can't say that he wasn't trained right, because, you know,
he was motivated.
He was supposed to be even better in the second fight coming in, because he's getting ready for what happened to him in the first fight. But something happened with that David Dax. I can't say his fucking name. Whatever.
Just call him John Jackson, bro. You're going to say
John Jackson. For some reason, I get my tongue gets twisted.
Yeah, just forget the middle name. Just call him John Jackson. We know who you mean. We know who you mean.
Yeah. That fool, he did something to him. There's no doubt about it.
Guys, can I say something? Like, when you have a distraught camp, when you are, you know, from all those fucking bullshit outside the ring, emotionally drained, plus you face a guy like Andre Ward who his style is based on offensive clinching, which no matter who you are, how big or strong you are, if you fight against a guy like that, who, you know, clinches a lot and does this fucking wrestling, you're gonna get sapped of your stamina real quick. Plus the nut shots, plus the fucking corrupt referee. I mean, it's gonna set the deal.
Yeah, but it was not in the beginning of the round, bro. That's ridiculous. The first round, he was like that. That's different.
Yeah.
Like, if you were talking about the fifth round, the sixth round, I'll be like, I'll understand you. But it was like the very first round between Ward and him. the second fight, he was looking weird. He didn't look like the first, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, like, I mean, what I was saying is that those things applied to like the result, the outcome. It was the whole bullshit surrounding that. But I agree with you.
The thing is, like, yeah, can I say this last thing? The thing is, everybody was saying this, not just me. Everybody's saying they're like, he looked like he gave up. Like, what do you mean gave up? What are we talking about? This guy's a champion. He gave up. Like, yeah, the first fight, he's already given up. Like, he knows he's gonna lose. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
If someone had robbed me of my belts like that, I'd be screaming murder. I'd be fucking screaming a rematch. I'd be taking it to the committees. I'd be on every social media network I could find, talking about Andre Ward, and the ref. But
Yeah,
Kovalev didn't even complain when he got stopped. I mean, it's probably the worst refereeing I've ever seen in my life. Some of these referees are real scumbags, aren't they? They're fucking real scumbags, man. We need to start getting a young breed of referees. And like in soccer, when you get too old, they kick you out. Go and play bingo or something. This is not for you anymore. You're too old. But in boxing, you could be 95 years old with a walking stick and be a referee in a heavyweight fight. It's a fucking joke. We need to start getting young blood in. I'm not saying they won't be corrupt, but these old guys, all you got to do is fucking slip them a pack of Cuban cigars, and they'll do anything you want them to do. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Tony Wicks isn't even that old, man.
He's got to be in his 50s, isn't he? Late 50s.
Good question.
Yeah, and you know what's too? That's a good point that you brought up, because when you look at a guy like Kovalev, who traveled all around the world to collect those belts, he was a road warrior, and then he got robbed of his belts and was really motivated to the second fight and didn't really even complain. Like you said, he was just done with it, with that bullshit. It just looks really strange to me.
Yeah, mentally drained. I think he just thought to himself, this is a guy that constantly ducks below the waist, constantly holds, flies in with his head. He's hard to hit with two shots because you can hit him with one and guaranteed he's on you, holding you and grappling you to the ground. And I think it was mentally, I just think he collapsed. I just think it's one of them where Andre Ward, even when he's losing a fight, he could lose every round and still win it on points. Andre Ward, he could just glaze you on the top of the fucking temple or something, make your legs do a little bit of a funny dance, but you come back round and the referee can stop you at any moment. Mentally draining, knowing that any moment some fucking scumbag can take the fight from you. And I think Kovalev realised that this guy, that's why Kovalev don't want to fight him again. He said, what's the point fighting the guy? You're going to have to knock him out to beat him. And it's just disgraceful.
And he could knock him out. He could knock him out. He showed that he could in the first fight. The problem is that when you're fighting a top-notch athlete and he could bend the rules, that matters. You understand what I'm saying? That matters. That takes imagine any one of you guys sign up for a fight, right? And they tell you these are the rules. You can't break them. But the other guy, you can only throw punches, but the other guy could throw kicks every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? He could throw a kick. Who's going to win the fight? If he's built like you, same height as you, strong as you, maybe you're better with the hands, but he can use a kick. I'm just using that as an example.
Andre will, yeah. Andre
so
will.
You're gonna, yeah. So the guy, even it doesn't matter if you know how to throw hands better than that guy could. If he could rough you up and bend the rules, and the referee's gonna then stop the fight with an obvious low blow. I mean, there's nothing you could do. So Kovalev's silence tells me that, look, he signed up for this. He's saying to himself, I signed up for this. It's over. There's nothing I could do about it. So I know if I speak up, there's a good chance I won't get big fights. I won't get the chance to make money. So in other words, he's looking at it now as, fuck the Andre Ward situation. I'm going to continue boxing and see if I can make some money.
I actually think this fight tarnished Andre Ward more than it helped his legacy. I think you'll struggle to find anyone outside the LDBC that's got a good word to say about this guy. And this guy should be on top of the world with his record and Olympic gold, world championships in different weights. You know, this guy should be on top of the world in America, but he's not. A lot of people, he just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I mean, when he lost the first one, he was on the rope celebrating like he just KO'd Kovalev. When even the fucking crowd were booing, man. And this guy, I think it harmed him like it harmed Timothy Bradley. I think when Timothy Bradley did the same to Pacquiao, when he claimed that victory and celebrated it, he never got the love after that. And I think that's the problem with Andre Ward. That's why he retired, because he threw a tantrum because he wasn't getting the love that he thought he deserved.
Oh, and Tony Weeks is 62, by the way. 62 years old.
There you go. That's not a young man, Butcho.
No, I thought he looked younger than that, man. Oh my God.
Kovalev was going. Yeah. Let me just. I'm sorry, Boxing Styles. I want to say one thing too. That I'm sure that people are pretty aware of Jay Prince. And again, I'm not saying Jay Prince threatened Kovalev directly, like you better lose this fight. No, it wasn't like that. He threatened him like, slow down your words, what you're saying. Like what when you're going up there on the podium and the shit that you're saying, you better slow your words down. That's what he was. That's how I took it. Again, that's how I took that little speech he made on the podium when he addressed Kovalev. Now you got to understand something, that there's a reason why Jay Prince, who's like 5'6", okay, there's a reason why in the middle of a big staged East Coast, West Coast rap, battle that was going on, nobody fucked with him, right? He would make comments and diss people. These guys acting stupid, and diss Suge Knight, who's 6'5" and 315 pounds, and they wouldn't touch him. They wouldn't even address him. They were like, oh, if that's what he said, then it is what it is. The guy has serious connections outside of boxing, outside of the music industry, and he's put his muscle to work several times.
The thing is, when you guys talk about Kovalev, let me say this, Stu, and then the thing is, when you guys talking about Kovalev arguing, what can you do, man? The decision's already made. If there was a way in boxing, and I hope they could do this one day, where you could go and appeal a fucking decision and get it reversed, and that way you can't alter the Vegas decision, because whatever goes down that day goes down that day. But the next day you can go and appeal the decision. Let's say they're fighting in Nevada, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission checks it out, and they rewatch the fight, they look at it, and they get the right decision. That'd be different. But the thing is, they can reverse the decision pretty much. But that's not the case. That's not the case. He can't do that kind of stuff. So he like, what's the point of arguing? And the second time he was going for the KO, man. Something happened. He has that weak mentality when it comes to fighting. Maybe some other shit, but not fighting. That motherfucker was going for the KO.
Is trying to be put. He's been pushed by mainstream boxing media as the next great American fighter. Okay, that's what he was being pushed as. So it wasn't just inside shit that was going on. The media wanted him to win this fight. That's why they didn't get too detailed with the replay and the low blows, and that's why you have them saying what should be obvious in front of everybody. It looks like a great body shot, maybe borderline. There's nothing borderline about those shots, man. There was nothing borderline about him. He was aiming directly low. Directly low.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Whatever.
Sorry, I have a habit of muting my button.
I don't understand why Bucho's in charge, and then all of a sudden he disappeared. All right, I'm hearing a lot of background noise. I recognize. Yeah, Bucho just says "oh" and disappears. I thought he was taking. I was chatting with people.
I thought that thing froze or something.
No.
Matrix seems like he's in a hotel or something.
I was talking with people.
I'm in my kitchen.
I was talking with people in the chat room, and then I said, "Okay, Butcher's got the reins," and all of a sudden, whoops! I hear nothing but silence. I go, "What the fuck is going on?"
I know what's going through Stuart's mind. Recognizes always in the kitchen.
Hey, by the way, speaking of Stu, man, Stu, I know you're tired right now, but is it because you're saving up your energies for the big event of the century? I'm talking about the royal wedding between Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Come on, I'm pretty sure you're excited about that, right?
Are you complaining about this marriage?
Let's be real. That fucking wedding, right? I'd rather go back. I'd rather go back and watch fucking Kovalev Ward 2, to be honest with you, mate. You know what I mean? Oh, look at Prince Harry. What a diverse ginger twat he is. Do you know what I mean? Fuck off. I'm not interested. Don't get me wrong. She's a good-looking girl. I'd bash her back doors in a heartbeat. But
what a gentleman! What a gentleman!
You know, this royal family. I mean, they are what they are. I mean, I'm a patriot. Yes, let's be real. But the royal family. I mean, I don't mind the two boys. The rest of them are fucking weirdos. So let's be real. No interest in it whatsoever.
She's kind of cute though, Stuart. What do you think? I think she's kind of cute, that girl. She's kind of attractive, that lady.
Yeah, of course she is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Harry's done all right for himself, you know. And what? Go on, bro.
Explain me one thing. Why Prince Harry, who could have any fucking woman in the world, right, goes for a divorcee 30-something-year-old? I mean, come on, man.
Oh, good point. Very good point. That is the point of the night right there. That is the point. She's 36.
How old is she?
She's 36. 36.
Well, just put it this way. I've had women 36 and I've had women in their early 20s. And I can tell you what, a woman at 36 is a far better. Far better in all ways. Cooking for you. Well, obviously, she ain't gonna cook for him, but just they're real women at that age. When they're young, in their early 20s, they're fucking useless. I mean, I've pulled young birds and I've had to send toast back because she only cooked one side under the grill, and left one side bread and one side toast. I was, what the fuck is this, man? I wanted toast.
That's how they do it nowadays.
I said, take it back. I want the other side fucking grilling. You know what I mean?
That's how they do it.
Yeah, and you know, they don't cook, do they? Like I said, we said on the Renaissance, whatever it's called, we said they don't cook anymore. They don't fucking clean. You know, they make sure they look good for 24 hours a day. They've always got the makeup on, and but when it comes to fucking cleaning and everything else, when they get a bit older, they're a bit more responsible. They've got children to look after. They've got their own jobs, houses, and they're better in the sack. Let's be real. So,
but Pavel brings up the good point. She's divorced. She's 36, meaning she's got what about, let's say she's got 5 years, 7 years tops before she hits the wall. Why did he get
already after the wall? Come on.
I don't know. Well, hold on. Let me put the pictures of her up, and I'll let people in the chat room and here in the hangout be the judge. She looks good, don't get me wrong, but for how long is she gonna be able to maintain this presence and this conditioning that she's got going for her?
4 years max.
4 years max, you're saying? How about Boxing Style? How about you? Can you see the picture on the screen? Boxing Style? Okay, he's muted. Okay, how about you, Boxing Style?
Prince Harry, right?
I have to look.
Can I just get in here? Can I just get in here?
Go ahead.
Prince Harry, right? Prince Harry is not Prince Charles's son, right? Princess Di was having. Let me finish quickly. Princess Di was having an affair during the time of Harry's birth with a man called James Hewitt. Now, I just want you to BDA just to Google a picture of James Hewitt and tell me if Harry is not his son. Just quickly put that up for me, please, because a lot of you guys probably wouldn't have heard of him. Prince Harry has never been Prince Charles's son, and this picture of James Hewitt will prove to you.
There it is, and it's actually
the cuck.
Yeah. He was a cock, apparently. Look, there you see the guy on the Hewitt on the right, and then you see Prince Harry on the left. They kind of look alike, man. For sure.
Let's be real, right? Let's be real. Princess Diana was a fucking slapper. Let's be real.
What does that mean?
Yeah, she was.
She's had more pricks than a fucking second-hand dartboard. Do you know what I mean?
Jesus.
What type of way is that to talk about a
Was
person
she
that's dead?
killed by the queen?
Well, yeah, she was going out of an Arab, weren't she? So,
Oh,
you know,
big no-no.
I
Nah,
figured this would
that's-
happen. I figured this would happen. She was a disgrace to the royalty, and they got rid of her.
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
for sure.
who
That's
gets
exactly what
chased by the paparazzi and then crashes into a wall? I mean, it just seems like that. We're talking
They said the
conspiracy
driver
theories.
was drunk, but he wasn't drunk at all. Because if you see the video when he's coming out of the hotel, the driver is just walking. He doesn't look like a drunk. And they say they took out blood from the guy, from the driver, and they said he was like 10 times over the limit or something like that.
What?
When you're 10 times over the limit, you can't fucking walk, man.
That's right. You can attest to
It
that.
makes me laugh, right? Because it's all to do with his father, who owns Harrods, Mohammed Al Fayed. This guy's an Egyptian billionaire, and he's been trying to get a British citizenship, right, for like 30, 40 years.
Oh,
They will not give this guy one. They fucking hate him. I don't know what it's all about. I don't know the ins and outs. I mean, this Mohammed Al Fayed, like I said, multi-billionaire, paid millions and millions in tax, can't get a fucking a citizenship. But if you're Mohammed from the mountains of Afghanistan, you can walk into England, mate, and get a free house. Do you know what I mean? Unbelievable.
Nothing but truth right there, man.
Like 500 pounds, right?
Sorry?
And you could get about 500 pounds of government assistance, I heard.
Oh, they get more than that, man. Fucking hell, a lot more.
Damn.
Look, this Princess Diana was very popular, and popularity is something you can't buy all that easily. And I think it might have been that. It might have been the fact that she was going out with an Arab, and that's not something that you know. I've heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that these royal families, that they pride themselves on purity of blood. So maybe this is what because I've read this conspiracy theory that the one that's getting married this month, I forget his name already. To me, they're all the same. But apparently, some people say that he's marrying this girl who's not 100% white or whatever, and that they're doing this. He's doing this just to piss the queen off.
No, he's doing it. He's doing it to suit the liberal agenda of this diverse, fluffy little world that we all want to live in. Right? Let's be real. That's all it is. That's all it is. The royal family, they're a bit white. We need a bit of colour in this royal family. Who can we get that's just not too dark? You know, looks white but it's not white. Oh yeah, there's Meghan Markle. Let's go and pay her a visit. It's one of them ones, isn't it? Let's be real. I don't see him. I don't see him asking Serena Williams to come.
Serena Williams is white, man. What are you talking about?
Oh goddamn, that was good. That was a good
Built
run.
like Adonis Stevenson.
Yes.
Oh, man. It's the same with politics. It's the same with politics, isn't it? Oh, how can we get the minority votes? I know. Let's get a Muslim mayor and put him in London. Let's let him destroy London and turn it into a shithole. That'll help with the votes. I mean, it's all political. The whole thing with the royal family, they're a bit too white for this establishment now. They need a bit of colour. So I'm sure. I don't know. It must be a Chinese lady might be next, or
Chinese lady.
A Muslim.
He said a Chinese.
We're gonna have a full deck of cards in the royal family.
One of them is gonna marry a tranny from Manhattan.
Oh yeah. There'll be a tranny there.
We need to get some more minions in there, man.
Yeah, can you imagine the Buckingham Palace with his own transgender rooms? I mean,
it's gonna happen one day. Hey, listen, they let Jimmy Savile in there, just walk in there whenever he wanted. You know, like, hey, it's Jimmy Savile.
Let's be
everybody.
real. The BBC is the biggest paedophile gang on earth. And it always has been, and the British taxpayer is funding it. So they're taking our tax money and giving it to Savile to go around the country noncing girls. I mean, I can't stand the fucking BBC, man. They've been hired. This is a paedophilia gang. This is not just one guy. There is fucking loads of them. Rolf Harris, another one. The thing is with these guys, these were sex predators, and guess what? The BBC were doing, giving them children's programs. You know. This is not like, oh, he's a pedo, but he's one of our friends, but he can do a crime show at 10 o'clock at night. No, he's doing the fucking children's BBC show at 3:15 in the afternoon. Do you know what I mean? And scumbags. I'll tell you what. If the jihadis blew up the BBC centre tonight,
no, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Because otherwise, the NSA
Should we
comes
say
down on us.
should we say allegedly, BDA?
No. Well, first of all, it's if you read the whole Jimmy Savile thing, the BBC knew. Everybody, like most of the big names there, knew what was going on. The police knew, and the people came forward. Children came forward. And they said, "This guy's, fucking me up the ass," and nothing ever happened for decades until he was dead. Now that's why whenever something happens with Bill Cosby, I ask myself, why is this coming out now? But for certain people,
with the wrong people.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's something very suspect about it, and I know people.
I guess the Pizzagate shit is real.
Well, listen,
Nah,
people.
I think that Pizzagate's a distraction, but
people are gonna say, "Well, BDA, you don't believe the Kovalev thing." Yeah, because the Kovalev thing, it doesn't have. It's a lot of supposition, a lot of assumption. But with this one, after the guy died, it all came out, and nobody fucking said anything. Nobody did anything to. And the fact that he was able to walk into Buckingham Palace like it was his apartment or something, that just it's a clear example that this guy was in it with a lot of these big names.
Yeah.
And that's why they didn't do it. And by the way, they said that the guy liked to fuck corpses, not just living people. He liked to fuck corpses.
I see Barrel in the chat's getting a bit upset with me because I said it's an illiberal agenda, and he's told me to move out of London if I don't like minorities. I don't fucking live in London. It's a third world shithole. I live in a nice place where I don't have to see anybody. So you can take that comment back. I don't live in London, so I don't need to move from the place. And facts are facts. I'm not saying I hate minorities. I'm just saying this liberal agenda that we're getting through the media, through politics, through TV, through music. And if you can't see it, then you're fucking Mr. 70 IQ.
Oh, now wait a minute. Okay, I'm not going to let you badmouth or audience this way. But here's the thing. Getting back to this.
Yeah, because I really see you back in my corner, BDA, don't you, when I'm getting fucking shit.
What was Mr. 78's real name?
Was that?
What was Mr. 78's real name? 78 Sports TV? Whatever it is.
I don't know.
Who cares?
It is not known currently, but we are investigating.
It's fucking investigating. All right, listen.
was on it.
I wanted to just end on that note, the whole fucking royal wedding thing. We're gonna be back tomorrow though, at same time, and we got a lot of things to talk about. I wanted to get everyone's prediction on Saturday's fights, and the reason I like the fact that we got them earlier in the week, last week, right? Not the day off, because that way people can reevaluate their prediction and maybe tinker around with it and all that. But man, we got 3 fights this Saturday, 3 good fights, and I'm telling you something, we're gonna have some fun with that one, all right? And also, here's the thing. I also want to talk about Eddie Hearn, who's still talking a lot about signing up American fighters. I wanted to bring up also what people are saying about that in the chat rooms and in the message boards. So we're going to get to that. But by the way, before we do go, a little bit more talk about this royal wedding. I understand in England if they do it, right? If there's a lot of hype for that. What I don't understand is why the Americans and the Canadians get fawn all over that shit. I remember when the other one, what's his name? The one that got married back in 2011 to that white girl. What's his name? What Butcher? What's the name of the brother? The older brother?
William.
Yeah, I don't know these names. Anyway, but when he was gonna get married, the CBC, which is the equivalent of the BBC, they're going like, oh, this is such an eventful, it's going to be a great event. I'm thinking, who the fuck gives a...
No, but in Quebec, they're not going to celebrate that shit.
Oh, no.
They
in fact,
hate the English.
In fact, did they do a hockey game?
Remember when Camila and Prince Charles were here in Montreal, I think it was? People were throwing garbage at them, so they couldn't go into a building, so they had to go through like the back door, through an alley with the dumpsters and all that shit.
Wait, didn't that happen in England too? Some people were throwing. Didn't that happen in England as well? That people were throwing trash at their car, and they were scared.
I don't know. They don't like him.
I remember when Princess Diana died, and they were showing the people at the funeral. Well, not the actual funeral, but people outside the funeral. And there was this guy staring down the cameraman, and he's like, "You did this. You killed her. You did." I'm thinking, Jesus, get a grip of yourself, man. Did you know the woman? Did she ever come in and wash your dishes? Did she ever give you a hand job or anything? No. So why the fuck are you so invested in somebody that didn't really care that much about you? I mean, listen, let's not speak.
My uncle, right? My uncle is my auntie. She left him for about 3 days because over Princess Diana. Because when she died, my auntie kept crying. Oh, my uncle's like, get a fucking grip of yourself. Sitting there crying over a slapper, and she chucked him out the house. It took him about 2 or 3 days to get back. Do you know what I mean?
Jesus.
Yeah. People are properly emotionally invested with this stuff. And don't get me wrong, it was very sad to see Diana die like that because she was a good woman. Just because she's a slapper, don't mean she's not a good woman. You know what I mean?
She's a slapper.
Jesus Christ.
But she was a good mum to her kids as well. She was a good woman. It was very sad to see. But a lot of people got really emotionally invested in this.
The only criticism you have of her is that she was going out with an Arab, right?
I didn't say nothing about an Arab.
I'm kidding.
Just say it's too.
I was actually defending his dad, saying why they wouldn't give him a citizenship.
Right.
This guy, like I said, I just showed you a picture of Harry's dad. Right. The woman was cheating on Prince Charles, and he was cheating on her. Them two are, like you said, she was groomed for that position from a young age, and I don't think they ever loved each other. Sort of things. One of them ones.
It was like basically an arranged marriage.
I have a problem with her dating Arabs.
All right. There you have it. Recognize being upfront about it. Would you let your daughters go out? Would you let your daughters go out with an Arab?
Goddamn racist.
No, my daughter's not allowed to date anybody.
Anybody? Whoa.
Out of her race.
Oh, okay. I heard it. Yeah. Well, there you go. By the way, we just want to remind people.
I mean, I don't want her dating. Period. But
you want her to date on her period? Is that what you said?
Oh, that's a period.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you.
You recognize as a supremacist.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Latino supremacist.
Now, let me say exactly the same as recognize and see if I get away with it.
No, you can't. And by the way, we don't condone. Just remind people that BDA does not condone the views of everybody in here. If people say what they want, we can't stop them, right? But we do not condone those type of views.
I'm like Muhammad Ali. Remember what Muhammad Ali said?
No.
Why would any crazy white person or black person want their kids to have?
That's right.
Mixed children. Little mixed children.
But yet his grandson looks like a Mexican.
Yeah, because Muhammad Ali's wife. One of Muhammad Ali.
That's true.
One of Ali's wife was. She was one of the whitest black women I've ever seen in my life. One of his wives. I'm not sure. She looked Puerto Rican or Mexican or something like that herself. So I just, I think a lot of these blacks. It's like that guy Tariq Nasheed. Is it? This guy, like he's a proper black supremacist, but he's got one of his girlfriend is like a quarter black or something. You could barely see the black in her. So a lot of these guys are hypocrites, man. If you're going to be pro-black, go and get yourself a nice sister instead of,
No, I'm kidding, man. I'd say date whoever the hell you want to date. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, when it comes to women, mate, they all look good, don't they? In all races, man.
Absolutely. Except I was gonna say except one race, but then I remember that Stu's mother is half. Actually, Stu is half Irish, so I'm not gonna say anything.
You fucking gobshite. You gobshite, you.
No, but you're right. I mean, listen, women are good looking. Women from all races can be good looking. There's no doubt about that. That's why I hate these people.
Even aborigine women. Come on.
Yeah, there's some aborigine. Yeah, the fucking Pocahontas. You've never watched Pocahontas? Come on.
Oh my God.
That's right. You got nothing to say because you know I'm right.
Pocahontas is bad, boy. She's sexy.
By the way, no, but what I was gonna say is this. What I was gonna say is that women, people always say that's why I hate this. A lot of the far right people, that say, oh, you should mix. There should be no mixing between the races. And then what happens? It's like those people that are always talking about ending homosexuality. those preachers and all that, or those politicians, they find them in bathhouses, in public bathrooms, trying to get a blowjob from another dude. It's the same thing with these guys. They talk about intermixing, it should be forbidden, and then what do you see? Do you see them going out with black girls, Latinas, whatever? You know, it's like, come on, let's just, life is a buffet.
They interviewed this guy from the EDL, the English Defence League. They're classed as like a white nationalist sort of thing. They're anti-Islam and all that lot, and apparently they're anti-black as well. They're meant to be. I'm not sure if they are or not, but they're meant to be, and they're meant to be a racist group. And they were interviewing one of the leaders, and his daughter came around the fucking corner, and there's a mixed race girl. So he's obviously got a kid with a black woman. So I couldn't believe it. Do you know what I mean? This guy's sitting there, part of a racist group, so-called racist group, and he's sitting there with a half-black child. So a lot of these people are hypocrites, man. These
exactly.
People
yeah, let's see. You know, these people, they don't practice what they preach. I practice what I preach.
Like
for me, life is a buffet. Everything goes well, except, you know, as long as it's a woman. And that's the other thing. When people say, well, if it looks like a woman, but hey, you know what? If you buy a counterfeit watch, it looks like a Rolex, but it ain't a Rolex, right? So I don't understand these fucking people saying, hey, you know, hey, it looks like a woman. Fuck you. You're not going to catch me in that shit. Ain't going to happen.
Those that say that are trying to justify their homosexual fantasies. That's what it is.
Right.
It's
Or
okay.
again,
accidentally.
2018, that's what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. You know,
right.
Live your life.
Now, if you get tricked, because I'm not gonna lie, there are some trans people out there that do look quite authentic, and if you're drunk and you're in a loud nightclub and it's dark, you could fall into
now
that.
There's a movement that they don't have to tell you that they were a woman before. They were a man before. Sorry.
Yeah. That's oof.
And I seen a
come
tranny
on.
get beat up trying to play that trick before on some guy. Yeah, man. I was at a club. This guy was beating the living daylights out of this man, woman, whatever.
Well, I don't advocate that, but I mean,
man, woman, whatever.
It's dangerous. What I'm saying is, it's dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Call it a she-male, bro. Makes easy.
Yeah, whatever. Tranny, she-male, he, she, whatever.
All right, but
the thing is with society. The thing is with society today, right? She could look like a woman. She could have makeup and high heels on, but she could have a fucking she is a man. She's got penis and balls, right? You could get in an argument with her, and she starts trying to lump you or lumping you, and then you hit her back. They can actually do you for hitting a female. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's
what?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? That they can do you for hitting a female. It's because the court will not tell her. If that woman says, "Well, I'm a woman," the society today, who's the court to tell him he's not a woman? That's how retarded society's got. So he classes herself as a woman, and they have to class her as a woman. I mean, a lot of these are getting put in women's jails now, aren't they? In England, a lot of these transgenders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I don't understand that whole thing. I mean, I let people do what they want to a certain degree, but when it comes time to that you have to call them a certain thing, that's when I go, well, wait a minute, you're trying to rail us in to do something that we don't agree with? Come on. Listen, dress up like a woman if you want, fine. But I don't know what to think about that. Here in Canada, they force people, like, if somebody's a transsexual and a guy thinks he's a woman, you have to call him she. And people say, well, what's the problem? What's wrong with that? Well, how about the fact that you can't be telling people what to do? I mean, you have no right to be telling people. Anyway, listen, I don't want to fucking get into this conversation now. But the point is this. People in the chat room, by the way, some people are saying, well, isn't this a boxing podcast? And I want to thank We Degree for explaining to the newcomers how it works here at BDA Boxing. We talk about boxing for 2 hours, and then if it starts to hit a snag or something, we talk about something else, you know?
Everything goes on BDA, everything.
That's right, everything.
Because I won't lie, when the Golovking-Canelo discussion was on earlier, I think that's what actually got me tired and sent me off.
Yeah, I know, man. Because we've talked about this a million fucking times, man.
I had no strength left to even mention Golovkin's name. It was just tedious to listen to, and I love listening to. I love listening to you guys about talking boxing because it's great to listen to. But I just can't. I've got no strength for this topic anymore. And before you know it, I was dozing off. I thought, fuck it, I'm going to go and have a sleep. that topic sent me to sleep. That's how much I care about that topic.
Triple G.
Yeah. The Canelo fight, not individually talking about, but just talking about that fight, talking
Let's
about.
talk about it again one more time. What about that?
Huh?
Well, it's interesting that you guys say that that you don't want to. Yeah, I understand it. We talked about Golovking-Canelo a long time ago, so we didn't really want to talk about it again. But the one subject that I noticed that you guys can talk about all day long is fucking Andre Ward versus Kovalev too. That fight for you guys.
The first one and the second one.
That's like your Christmas.
There's so much detail, some obvious details there that it makes it interesting.
We should do a special episode on that. One episode we just focus on, and I want people to bring proof, more proof that there was something other than the low blows, obviously. But I want to see comments. I want to see video. I want to see audio. I want to see microfilm of everything you guys got that proves that there was something shady going on behind the scenes prior to the actual fight. That's what I want to see.
I'll do that.
Fantastic. And Pavel, maybe your agency can get in on that as well.
I'm on a vacation now, so no chance.
Ah, fuck. All right. Well, when you get back then. Apology. Are you there?
Get that Law and Order shit, Donald.
Exactly. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for being back. We're just about to go, though. You joined us a little bit late, but is there anything you want to say before we go? Any comments about last Saturday's fights or this upcoming Saturday's fights?
No, I just enjoyed the last fight with Richie Loma and Lars. Excited to see where Loma goes next.
Did you just get
this week? This should be a good fight as well this week. I expect Budujak to get a KO, but you never know what will happen.
That's right. You never know what's going to happen, man. Which fight are you looking forward to the most? Stevenson Jack, Joseph Diaz Jr., Russell Jr., or Warrington versus Selby?
Probably Stevenson versus Jack.
Everybody says
the least boring.
I think it's a very, very good week of boxing. I mean, at least we've got some fresh fights to talk about. I mean, competitive fights as well. 50-50 fights. And that's what we want. We've been moaning, well, for a while now, about these mismatches on Matchroom cards, on Frank Warren cards, on these PBC events. We need to start seeing some 50-50 fights again. And this week is a real solid week for boxing. The fight I'm looking forward to the most, I'd have to say Budujak Stevenson, because I just really want to see Stevenson get beat and lose that belt. I just don't like Adonis Stevenson. He's held that belt hostage since time began. He's never really chased the best. He's fought a couple of good names, don't get me wrong, but he's been rotting. He's been rotting, isn't he, really? He's been doing nothing. And the guy's got to be 40 years old now. He has to be. So, for me, it's time for a young lion to come through, take that belt off Stevenson. I think Budujak, very, very good fighter. I'm picking Jack to win it on points. He could even stop Stevenson, because Budujak, he could stop Stevenson. He's a big, strong guy. I think it was recognised. He said he's growing into that weight. And he's starting to look an established light heavyweight, and he's a big, strong guy. I think Stevenson's getting weaker, so that's a fight I'm looking forward to. Selby Warrington is a real good fight for me. I'm picking Selby to win that. I think Selby's just too good for him. Warrington throws a lot of punches, and he's gonna be in Selby's face. But I think Selby's quite a slick fight. It's quite a good fight. He can fight on the back foot. He can walk fighters down. He's got very good range. He's very good jab. He's been a real good fighter, Lee Selby. He's one of the top fighters in that division for me. So I'm picking him to beat Warrington.
All right, don't give away all your predictions right now, man. Save them for the next episode, all right?
Oh, sorry, bro. I didn't know. We got more shows coming this week then.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do one tomorrow, and hopefully
I can't do Friday though. So if I get my prediction out of the way now, is that okay? I can't do Friday show when you usually do it because I've got something going around.
Actually, we're usually doing.
You know what Tuesday. I'm looking forward to?
Actually, hold on. We actually do them Tuesday, Wednesday, and usually Thursdays when we do a second Renaissance. So there's no unless sometimes Bucho likes to do a Friday show by himself. So, but I don't think we're gonna do a Friday show.
Maybe not.
Saturday we're gonna do a show. But yeah, we'll get.
I thought it was usually Fridays we did the prediction show.
No. Actually, you started doing the predictions early in the week, which is I said, you know what? I think it's actually better because then it allows people to tinker with their predictions until the actual day of the fight.
Yeah, I mean I think it's better like that, because otherwise you just give your prediction and that's it. At least give us a chance, because you might look at someone on the scales and they might look fucking, really weight drained, or they don't look confident, or they look sick. You don't know. You could change your opinion just looking at a weigh-in. So it's good to just do it early and then.
Yeah, good point. Early prediction, then you make a final prediction.
Exactly.
Makes it more exciting, gives us more to talk about, doesn't it?
That's right. Makes it more. What?
You guys,
Stevenson's going down.
We'll see.
So. I hope you guys are right, but I don't see it happening.
I see it happening quite easily.
I hope so. I hope Battle wins. I'm more of a Battle fan than a Stevenson fan.
Okay, my official prediction would be.
Well, we're not giving him right away. We're gonna give him
dropped early in the fight, but he's gonna go and nick the decision.
All right, listen. We're gonna save the predictions for tomorrow.
Oh fuck.
Okay, listen. Do people want to give him now? You tell me.
I take mine's back.
I don't mind.
All right, then let's fucking get him out of the way now before we go. All right, so.
I was gonna say which fight I'm looking forward to is Triple G versus Canelo 2.
All right.
Fucking guy. All right, so just to reiterate, Stu, who did you pick between Badu Jack and you picked Jack, right?
I picked Jack by points, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jack stops him.
Oh, okay. All right, Pavel, you go ahead, please.
Badu Jack and Stevenson, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, Jack is going to get dropped in the first half of the fight, and then he's going to survive and nick the decision.
All right. So you think what? Split decision, majority decision?
No, actually, it's going to be unanimous.
All right, unanimous. All right. Boxing style. How about you?
Stevenson knocking him out in the later rounds. I don't know exactly. I can't tell you exactly.
Choose a round.
I choose a round. Okay. All right. I would say 9.
9. All right. Remember, you still have time afterwards to change your prediction. So, apology. How about you, man?
11th round TKO body shot.
Body shot. Jeez, this is going specific.
To Loma.
Okay, I'm switching mine. I'm picking exactly what the apology said.
Jesus.
Because BDA now after what the body did, look into the Canelo fight and the cleverly fight.
All right, so you're saying
he's a good body worker.
You're saying Badu Jack by 11th round KO, TKO.
Yeah, to the body.
All right, and
TKO to the body.
All right, boxing style. Do you want to change it or you want to keep it?
No, I'm just playing, man. But imagine if it comes out correct, exactly what he says.
Bucho, how about you, man?
Badu Jack, 10th round stoppage.
Whoa, all right. And what did Precise say in the chat room? Or should we get him tomorrow?
You guys are all going with Badu Jack?
Oh, wait.
Yep.
How didn't I ask? Recognize before? Yeah, recognize. How about you? Sorry, I forgot you, man.
Well, since all you guys are going on record and picking Badu Jack, I'm going to spoil the apple cart. I'm going with Stevenson to win by, I say he gets beat up in the first, 3 or 4 rounds and stops Jack in 6.
Oh, okay. Stevenson 6th round stoppage. All right. And Precise just said that he's going to do it tomorrow. So just to reiterate, Stu has Jack. Was that? All right. Stu has Jack by points.
I might change it later on this week.
All right. Just don't make it too drastic a change. Otherwise, you're flip-flopping. All right. Stu has a Jack by points, possibly KO. Pavel says Jack gets dropped in the first half and then nicks the decision. Boxing Style says Stevenson by KO in the 9th round. Apology has Jack winning by 11th round TKO from a body shot. Bucho has it at Jack 10th round stoppage. Recognize has it Stevenson 6th round stoppage. And I'm going to go ahead and pick Stevenson by knockout within the first, I would say, 8 rounds. I think he's gonna stop him in 8 rounds. Yeah.
You got to pick a round, man. No, you can't do that.
No, yeah,
I could say you can knock him out within the first to the 12th round.
Actually, you know what? That's gonna be my prediction right now. But I have to watch more fights from Baidu Jack, because if he does come in strong and he can take the body shots and he can block the shots pretty well, I'm gonna change my. But for now, I think Stevenson's too strong for him. But anyway, I'll probably change it before Saturday. I'm gonna flip flop what I said you shouldn't do. But hey,
when is that fight what time is that fight supposed to start?
Well, Showtime, according to Fight News, it says Showtime will air the fights at 10. So if they air the Joseph Diaz versus Russell Jr. fight, then I'm assuming that the fight might start the main event might start at 11 p.m.
All right, around 11:25, I'll change my opinion.
11:20. All right, he'll change his prediction during the fight. All right.
Hey, we could change our opinion like in the first round. Let's just say we watched the first round. We're like, hey,
Once the bell rings, there's no more changing. You can't do it. It's over.
It's over.
You crossed the Rubicon. You can't go back. All right.
It's active gambling.
Active gambling. That's right. One Man Riot in the chat room says Stevenson wins by 4th round KO. Quack says Stevenson is too inactive. Quack says Jack is a yeah. Everybody, according to the LDBC, everyone's a coon. Stevenson, his favorite fighter. There is nothing to rate him by. Stevenson hasn't done shit, says Quags. Mark Funk says change your prediction after the fight. One Man Riot. Yeah, anyway, listen. We're gonna talk more about this tomorrow and of course on Saturday. People say they want to do a second Renaissance. Unless something happens, some big boxing news breaks or something, I think we should do a second Renaissance on Thursday. Maybe, yeah, why not?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Butcher, what do you say? Do we do
tomorrow should be a boxing. No, it's me.
Why not tomorrow? Second Renaissance. That way we change it up a little bit, and then Thursday we come back with boxing.
Yeah, that's we could do change it up a little bit. You know, we put a lot of hours in boxing. We're gonna have plenty more hours to talk about these fights in the week. So yeah, why not?
We should talk about the Illuminati.
Yeah, what do you want? That's what I was gonna. What do you guys want
to talk about? Whether Harry is really Prince Charles's son.
Oh, bro, come on. That's too obvious, man.
Is it? I don't know.
I'm only playing good show, man. Of course I don't want to talk about that.
She had an active sex life from what you're saying, Stuart.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, Prince Charles didn't like the woman. He didn't want to be with her from the start, so I don't think he was... I don't think he was doing it himself, so she had to go elsewhere, sort of thing.
We should read those love letters
she was sleeping with the England rugby captain. She was with him for about 3 years.
She was.
Did you read those love letters that Prince Charles wrote to Camilla?
Yeah, I saw her, man.
It was fucking nasty shit. Like he's like, oh, you remind me of a bloody tampon or something like that.
Oh.
Hey, that's my line. That's my line. He's stealing my fucking lines. What the fuck?
He's a weird looking fucker, though, isn't he, old Charles?
Or are they just like gingers? They look like gingers to me.
Yeah, no, none of them are ginger. That's why no, you know, for years no one mentioned it. Harry pops out looking like fucking Canelo, and no one mentions it.
Canelo's Prince Harry's son.
That's why he's got the whole of boxing on his side. Harry's making sure of it.
No, they're brothers. They're brothers.
Golovkin, Harry's my father.
All right. So how about? Oh shit! People dropped out again. I think the royal family's onto us. How about we talk about shit? Somebody wanted to nutrition. Should we talk nutrition? And how?
Why not?
And how it's apparent that they want people to keep eating shit all the time. Or should we talk extraterrestrials? We haven't touched extraterrestrials.
Oh, let's do extraterrestrials.
Reptilians.
We can do nationality.
Was that?
Me.
thought we were gonna do nationality.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to do nationalism. That's true. We were supposed to do nationalism, but we ended up doing a boxing podcast instead. So, fuck. I don't know. Aliens.
We have plenty to
We'll
talk
do
about.
everything. We'll do
Let's just
everything. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious. Who's more aware about extraterrestrials and all that, and who's more aware of nationalism and all that jazz about
Nationalism is. I could definitely get down with that. I'm not going to say I'm the most well informed. I don't know, but I'm pretty informed when it comes to that.
I can recognize.
There's a guy in the chat, right, that's saying that why don't you talk about the Israelis being Nazis?
Oh man!
Okay.
Because he wants us to get shut down. He wants us to get shut down.
Let's turn it to the people that fucking basically did genocide on us. That's a good idea. Let's turn it to them.
Hey, how about
Hey, I got one. Let's
What?
talk about, as an African American myself, let's talk about some African American.
Oh shit.
That's right.
Elijah Muhammad.
You are an AA boxing style. You are an AA, but you're not an African American. You're Armenian American. So you're nearly right.
Precise says, why don't you talk about? Precise says, why don't you guys talk about nutrition? Hold on, please.
Hold on.
Precise Puncher says, why don't you talk about nutritional nationalism? Now that's something. That's something I know nothing about. He's mixing them up. He's mixing both subjects up to coalesce it into one. Yeah, I don't know. Well, look, so who's saying that in the chat room? Somebody saying, Mighty Claire says nationalism is real, extraterrestrials is rubbish. I wouldn't be too sure about that, my friend. I mean, if some of the things I've read about, I wouldn't discount the existence of extraterrestrials just quite yet. But
I believe they're out there, mate. Don't you worry about that.
Well, did you see Jamie
Like out there
Munguia?
amongst us?
Where are we getting?
I got a good topic. Like serious.
Hold on.
One at a time, please. One at a time. Everybody's talking over each other.
Stu.
Where are we getting all this technology just popping up from nowhere? And we could 120 years ago, we could barely fucking get a kite in the air. You know, we've gone from look at 120 years. Look what we can do now. I think there's something that's given us technology, man. These people out here are not that smart. You know.
Well, hold on. Stu, you're saying who's giving us all this?
I think it's reverse engineering. Yeah, I think a lot of it's reverse.
But you're saying who's giving us all this technology? It's easy. Asians. That's the easy answer right there. What do you gotta? What you scratching?
No, Asians don't. See, with the Asians, right? The Asians don't really invent stuff. They just get other people's inventions and put their own spin on it.
I see.
Christ.
Yeah, they do.
Well, no, it's true. It's true.
It is.
The real innovators are Germans.
What about the
All the
Turkish?
technology comes from the British Empire.
What about Turkish people?
Well, all the technology comes from Africans. You guys stole it.
No, that's true. Yeah.
They did.
That's true.
My idea.
All right. So listen. Here's what I suggest. Propose. I propose we end up like Precise said. We can talk about nutrition and nationalism, and then we go from there. See which one is more interesting.
I got one. I don't know if you guys ever heard about this, but Antarctica is considered.
I gotta go. Bye.
No-fly zone. No-fly zone. Nobody can actually go in there. It's like restricted for private. Anybody private trying to get in there.
That's an interesting one too. But you know what? You know who doesn't find it interesting? Apology Man. He was just yawning over.
Flat Earth people are talking shit about that.
One last thing. Does anybody believe in flat Earth?
No.
No,
I don't.
No, I think it's got a very good case.
That I do believe, but
a very good case. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to talk about this.
Yeah, I think there's a very good case for it.
I think as a Chinese American, myself, I have a lot to say about that.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Before we go, Stu, are you being serious, man, about the flat Earth?
Yeah, I am being serious.
Uh-oh.
I'm open. I'm open. Listen, I'm open to discussion. I'm not going to believe anything that fucking NASA tell me anymore. I'm not going to believe anything. What you think they're going to do? Stanley Kubrick brings out a fucking film, tells us it's them landing on the moon, and they've already tricked me once. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it again, man. I've recognised he's robbing a Mexican restaurant.
Oh shit! People fell off the line again. Jeez, what's going on with this fucking connection?
Like, I want some tacos.
All right, we gotta talk.
I don't care. I want some tacos.
Listen,
you've got to be open. You've got to be open-minded. You've got to be open-minded. You can believe something for 30 years, and all of a sudden, someone hits you with a bit of information. You open your mind up. It's like you could turn from Christianity to Islam just by one guy telling you something that you feel is the truth. Or vice versa. You could turn from Islam to Christianity, whichever way. So you've always got to be open-minded. Just because you can't just think one way all the time, and we can't believe. When it comes to the government, these people have been lying to us since time began. You can't take a word they say seriously. So if they're telling me that that the world's a globe, then I'm going to look to other options. And if the flat Earth theory,
is NASA the government? Isn't NASA a company?
I'm gonna tell all you guys something. There's like, I don't know how many countries who signed the treaty. My bad. How many countries? Yeah. And I was gonna say, how many? I don't know, 50, 60. I have no idea. Countries that signed a treaty that nobody is supposed to privately. They all back that shit up too. That nobody privately goes and investigates Antarctica. And that's, ask yourself why. Why are they doing such things like that?
Wakanda's there.
Maybe Wakanda.
Yeah.
I do believe that shit.
Wakanda forever.
Mate, Claire in the chat. Mate, Claire in the chat.
Wakanda forever, that's where I'm from.
Mate, Claire's asking if I'm...
Hey Holmes, you can talk to me like that, Holmes. Hey, by the way, Pavel, that fucking are you trolling in the chat from Pavel, or is that real, man?
No, that's 100% truth. That's facts.
All right.
What do you say?
All right, for people that can't read the chat, Pavel says sleeping is a Jewish lie. In fact, when you sleep, Jews suck the energy out of you for shekels to be made. I mean, come on, man. You think I'm gonna stand for that? You really think I'm gonna stand for that here?
This is true. Precise has left the building. If you ever realized that shit.
Yeah. When you mentioned Jews, he left.
Pavel.
You mentioned Jews.
Listen,
yes.
Listen.
Hey, do you think I'm gonna have that? Do you really think I'm gonna have that, you ponce?
We can't have this type of talk in this podcast.
We can't have it. We can't have it. I can't do it.
Okay, now, man, it's hard work sometimes. Matty Claire in the chat is saying, he's asking if I got GCSEs because of my flat Earth theory. I didn't say. The thing is, right? He's saying that science tells us whether it's true or not governments. Who runs science? Who funds science? Can someone tell me? Who tells us what science can be told to us and what can't? In other words, science can be done, but the government is the ones that control it.
Oh boy.
Okay, apology. If this
have you heard of that guy?
Well, hold on. Apology. If this is hold on. Fuck. Everybody's fucking talking at the same time. This is ridiculous. Listen. Yeah, apology. First of all, you keep yawning over on the mic. I don't know if this is like a passive aggressive shit you're trying to do.
So
well, who hasn't? But I mean, come on, don't. I mean, at least mute it or something.
Sounds really loud, man.
It sounds like you're having like you're reaching climax or something. I'm just saying.
NASA are funded by the US government.
Oh, still with this?
What? Yeah, because I never got a chance to finish it because fucking people slurping in the ear.
All right, go ahead. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Stu. Go ahead.
That was just my point, basically. So it's nothing to do with fucking science. The government decides what we know and what we don't know. That was just my point. And then let's be real, GCSEs that science and GCSEs are not going to help you in life, sort of thing. You know, you need to be well-rounded in education.
All right. Well, listen.
Stu, can I ask a question?
Yeah. Go on.
Do you believe in the moon landing?
No, I just said that.
I don't believe it either.
I didn't hear.
No, sorry, bro. I don't believe in that. I'm not saying I believe in the flat Earth theory. I said I'm open-minded to discussion about it because there's a chance it could be real. Let's be real. I don't believe what NASA tell us anymore. If they can fake a moon landing and spend billions of dollars doing it, then why should I trust them? It's cry wolf, bro. What's the lie?
Did you guys
Always?
hear?
I don't think they
My bad. So did you get? Apology. Wait,
legit.
I got something for you. Did you hear Neil deGrasse say that where he was talking about against these flat Earth guys? He said like, oh, the Earth is not actually round. It's kind of like a oval shape. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that I heard that too.
He start. Yeah, no. What I'm trying to say is they're trying to cheerfully. Yeah.
You want about like an egg shape?
Yeah, like an egg shape, like because he's trying to go against what people are actually seeing with the, how far you can see with your eye, 7-mile dip in the ocean.
I'm open up.
7-inch dip for each mile.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open up.
Some weird shit going on.
Yeah, there is. That's what I'm saying. You can't believe everything you hear. You have to be open-minded, and you have to let everyone's evidence come in, sort of thing, so you can take it from there. I mean, it's no good hearing two sides of a story when there's another side that's not being heard. So you have to be open-minded, hear all the sides, and then take it from there. It's like anything in life, like a religion. You could go and read 3 holy books and then decide which one you want to be. And it's the same with the.
So, do you believe the Earth is round or not?
If I was to put my money on it, I would say it's a globe. But I'm open-minded to the flat Earth theory because a lot of it does make sense.
And by the way, apology. 100% X wants us to kick you out of the hangout. What are you having trouble with 100% X now? What's going on?
He's just beefing me. He's trying to get me riled up, but I'm paying him no mind.
Exactly, and he doesn't want to piss you off. I can't imagine what it would be like. You said you're grumpy from working all day, so I wouldn't want to mess with you right now. And by the way, all right, so
I'm gonna tell you guys something about flat Earth shit.
Hold on, apology wants to say something. Yeah. Apology wants to say something.
I've been washing dishes all day. You know how boring that is. Doing kitchen pour, washing dishes and stuff. That is so boring.
Well, you need to make a game out of it.
Make a game out of it.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. When I used to work at the morgue, I would make a game out of it. Like I would play puppets, I would use the corpses like puppets, You gotta listen, there's a silver lining to everything if you know how to look at it. All right. So that's what I would suggest you do, Apology.
I'll try, but
there you go. Just try. That's all I'm asking.
Boring. I can't make it interesting.
Well, all right, what was I gonna say? Yeah. Can I speak now?
No.
No.
Yeah, go ahead. We're running out of time, so you gotta go fast, all right?
All right, the real good example about what Stu was saying. A MiG plane from Russia. You know what a MiG planes are, right?
Yeah.
Badass. There's
Irish plane.
Huh?
It's
a MiG plane. It's a Russian
MiG plane. I'm sorry.
Aircraft. Russian fighter aircraft.
Oh man.
So
he said MiG.
So
I thought he was saying.
Yeah. Mickey Ward, yeah. Let's talk about some boxing.
All right, let's go, because we're running out of time.
So it goes. This plane goes up in space, not too up, like not like really out in the like as far as space shows go, but enough to see the Earth, like the blue sky and all that shit, and the dark space on top. On the thing, the window side, when you were inside the cockpit, you could see because the cockpit mirror, the glass of the window, pretty much, whatever you want to call that, bends the light, so you could see that the Earth is actually like curving, right? But on the camera that's on the tail, that has no curvature whatsoever, shows the Earth flat as fuck, flat as hell. So you see the shit that they pull off sometimes, like. It's weird shit that goes on.
Okay, we gotta talk about flat Earth tomorrow.
Yeah, all right, we'll talk flat Earth.
Write it down, BDA. We're gonna talk about that shit.
Fantastic. All right, so yeah, because that question needs to be answered right there. That's a good point.
And I'm gonna look up some bit of stuff I was researching. I'm gonna bring it to the table. I'm gonna show you guys, and you can make your own judgment of it. I'm not a flat Earth theorist. I'm not. I'm just open-minded. I believe it probably is a globe, but I just don't like. I don't like to believe what NASA telling us. Anything they're telling us is true. I think NASA's a joke.
All right, listen, we have to go now because we're running out of the we only got 5 minutes left. But here's the thing. I want to talk about that. I know there's people out there thinking, oh my God, what are you guys talking about? Listen, we're just going to discuss the actual phenomenon that there's actually people out there that believe that the earth is flat. Well, I don't believe it's flat. So but we're going to discuss the idea, right? And here's what we're going to do. We're going to include flat earth in the title because we know for sure that's probably going to attract a lot of people, just like it did with the MGTOWs. So we're going to do this, all right? One Man Riot says, please no flat earth debate. Listen, we already decided you can't change the momentum that we got going here, right? So we're going to do this tomorrow. I want to thank everybody that was in the hangout here right now. Or, you know, Stu, Recognize, Pavel, Boxing Style, Apology Man. Thank you for being on, guys. You guys make this a great show. Don't forget, we're going to do second Renaissance. Oh yeah, no problem. Second Renaissance tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget we have a Patreon page and we have Super Chat, so you can make donations from now on. Small donations, you know, little tips really help us out to get that call-in show that we're trying to get off the ground. Don't forget to check out Spreaker, where you can download the podcast from now on as well. Spreaker.com/BDA Boxing. And that's really about it. Again, thanks everybody in the hangout. You guys can leave if you want. Thanks again for your service to your country and to the podcast. I was just gonna give a shout out to everybody that's in that was in the chat room and listening. Balsa God, We Degree, Mighty Claire, Precise Puncher, Boxing Style, Apology Man was fighting against 100% X, Pop Tart Gun, The Quags, One Man Riot. Who else? Rod Davis. Is that his new name? Anyway, Mighty Claire, already said. Quags. Who else we got? One Man Riot. Pavel was in there, I said. Michael Stott. We Degree Quags. Anyway, you guys know who you are. Thanks for being. Aaron Kuko was there as well. Roberto Misquirelli. 100% X was there as well. So, Shepherd of Sons. You got Chris Gonzalez. Thanks a lot for being on, guys.
See you, BDA and everybody.
All right, see you guys. Thanks for being on. We'll do second Renaissance, like I said. Check out, for those of you that are listening on Spreaker, don't forget to check out youtube.com/BDA Boxing for more BDA goodness. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. Take care. Did I forget anything? I hope not, because we're out of time. See you, folks.